welcome to DCU Daily. For today, we are here on this wonderful Tuesday, not just talking about all things DC, as well as news related, but in addition to that, we do have our Tier List Tuesday video for today. You guys picked Shrek, so we are going to be tier listing Shrek films. But before then, let's get into DCU Daily, shall we? So obviously the first few things that we have to talk about are mainly news stories. We got Movie Talk Madness. We have first reactions to Masters of the Universe. It just had its premiere, as well as a clip releasing on the internet. So we're going to be talking about that. And then we have apparently a bunch of stuff coming to theaters that may or may not be interesting to y'all. So we'll talk about those, as well as Mandalorian and Grogu still getting mixed reactions from critics. Then we have a bit of TV Talk Terror. We got the trailer for The Agency Season 2. Apparently a new Scooby-Doo series is in the mix. And boys breaking records. But hey, just because you break records doesn't make you automatically good. So we'll be talking about that. And then, of course, MCU Weekly. The big news for Marvel today is, in fact, the Spider-Noir trailer. It is about a week from now that the Nick Cage-helmed show is going to be premiering on Amazon Prime. So we are going to be talking about that. What if there is more that is revealed or not? So, of course, there is that. Then we're going to be talking about a little bit of Punisher, a little bit of Brand New Day, a little bit of, return for our favorite devil. So we'll see who I'm talking about there. And then our quick hits, lovely quick hits that a lot of people seem to, right down the line, love, hate, who knows. And then finally, DCU Daily. Not a ton of DCU Daily news after the big news of yesterday with Lanterns. We aren't going to be talking about too much DC stuff today, but that's okay. We're still going to have enough for you. So, all of that and more, let's get into the show proper with this wonderful Knuff intro.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number two.
All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding. You're kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the...
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
Hello. Here we are, guys. Welcome to the show. Only Caleb is in the chat right now. Hello, Caleb. Lovely to see you. But here we are talking about all things good and bad. Well, we do have to talk about something bad that unfortunately happened yesterday. A voice acting legend known only as Tom Kane unfortunately passed away at the age of 64. This man, there is probably something you watched either as a kid or even as an adult that this man was a part of. For many people, as a kid, he was Professor. He was the professor on Powerpuff Girls. Then he was also in Clone Wars. He was Mr. Harrington in Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. He famously voiced he was a Dr. Loomis sound-alike in various projects. I think H2O was the biggest thing. I think he was also in Halloween Kills. And in addition to that, I think he played a pastiche parody character on the Boondocks. So unfortunately, it is very, very sad to say. Like, there is something that, I mean, it's not the case of like, oh, I'm not sure who this guy, you don't know the name, but you know a voice that he did in one of his many works. So we have to pay tribute to him for all the great things that he did. And it is unfortunately very, very, very sad. But Kane, if you must know, passed away from complications due to a stroke at the age of 64. So that is, of course, just absolutely, sad. And he voiced Admiral Akbar in The Last Jedi. He was, of course, in tons and tons of television, and he will absolutely 100% be dearly missed. And he also apparently voiced Ultron in the best Avengers show. But it's definitely damn. And Yoda as well in Clone Wars, that's what's referenced here. And yeah, it's a damn shame, but in the words of Ultron's main adversary in the film, life isn't beautiful because it lasts. I mean, it would have been nice to see him live another 20 years, but how health can be. And it is a shame. Tara Strong had very lovely words for him. I'm not going to read them on the show because I'm probably going to bawl like a baby, because God knows I did the first time when I read them. So um it it's such a shame to see, because it's like you see someone like, when we were talking about this a couple months ago, like people were dropping like flies, like Robert Redford, like that's a big name. Tom Kane isn't someone immediately, but he deserves just as much respect for all the things he did and all the roles he played. But just because he was not on that super high mark of Hollywood doesn't mean that his work will not be missed. So Tom King will 100% be missed. His legacy will never be forgotten. And it was very nice that he did reunite with the three original voice actresses for the Powerpuff Girls very recently. I think it was like maybe months ago. I'm not too sure. But yes, Tom Kane. I actually, like, it didn't like hit me, like when I heard Tom Kane pass away, I'm like, oh, it's sad. Oh yeah, Professor Utonium. That's so sad. And then I remember, and then because I follow a bunch of horror like pages, they're like, oh, Tom Kane, who famously voiced, you know, Dr. Loomis, like after Donald Pleasance passed away, he was the voice of Dr. Loomis. So, um, yeah, I was like, oh yeah, Tom King, because I was like, I know Tom King voiced Dr. Loomis, but then I'm like, oh wait, yeah. And then it was like a brain fart of like, I didn't put two and two together. And then when I heard that, I'm like, oh yeah, Tom Kane. That was the same Tom Kane. I was like, damn, okay. But yeah, also hello Elite Easy E. Hello. Nice to see you. Yeah, I mean, pretty much everyone grew up with his voice, not just in Powerpuff Girls, but I mean Kim Possible as well. Wild Thornberries was another big one. He was in, Legend of Korra. Sorry. But yeah, he was in Ben 10, he was in the X's, he was in Teen Titans, he was in Cat Dog, Duck Dodgers, Totally Spies, Angry Beavers, Cow and Chicken, Johnny Bravo. Um, and yeah, it's very, very sad to see, but he will not be forgotten. So rest in peace, easy Mr. Tom Kane. You are 100% missed. But let's move on to hopefully brighter things. That is Movie Talk Madness. We have a little bit of uh box office to talk about. We're going to be talking about like kind of like a run of the mill, like kind of what's going on in box office and TV stuff. So as we know, we did talk about this briefly yesterday, is the Michael Jackson biopic just hit 700 million worldwide, as well as Devil Wears Prada 2 also killing it. And these are the exact numbers, because I believe we didn't have the exact numbers. So it seems as though Michael, like the only one to hit over 20 million this past weekend, but Devil Wears Prada 2, Obsession got very close. That is definitely a big thing right there. And Mortal Kombat, it's only hit 62 million worldwide. Sheep Detectives is doing surprisingly well. It's doing about 30 million, and then the Super Mario Galaxy movie, again, this is just domestic gross, this is not worldwide, hence why it's only at 418. Then The Glazing is still big. Project Hail Mary, that is still going strong in the top 10. And then it just goes to show how fucking bad In the Gray was marketed when a re-release of Top Gun did better than your movie. That's pretty fucking bad, especially when Top Gun is overrated as fuck. That's pretty bad. That's real. And then you just barely scrape by higher than the Is God Is movie, which, barely had any marketing either. But Hokum is surprisingly not doing as well as I thought, but it is kind of a weirder movie. It didn't get marketed as much, so there is that as well. And then, I believe Shrek got a re-release. Then you have the Billie Eilish movie, and then a bunch of, and then Wizard of the Kremlin, which barely scraped by anything. Um, but, um, but yeah. Yeah, also nice to see you, Tony. Been a while, but yes, Legends passing on each week, unfortunately. That's just how it is. Um, you know, uh, saw Devil Wears Prada 2. You said it was funny. That's good. I'm glad you liked it. Seen 4 films this year. Project Hail Mary, Mortal Kombat 2, Devil Wears Prada 2, and then an Iron Maiden documentary. And Mandalorian and Grogu next week. I hope you enjoy it. We are going to be talking about Mandalorian and Grogu soon. But yeah, so this is what's kind of going on in major films right now. Um, and then we have, in terms of streaming, The Pit is still killing it. The Boys is still killing it. We're actually going to be talking about that for TV Talk Terror. And then Bluey, Big Bang, Bob's Burgers, always nice to see because Bob's Burgers is massively underrated. And Survivor, this newest season, this season 50, a lot of people are really fucking pissed off with how poorly that they've been doing this show. I know, for all 3 people that still watch Survivor, I would say, go for it. Big Star Wars return to film, why not? Um, here's the thing. I will say this in regards to The Boys. Now, it's maybe not nearly as bad as like Game of Thrones, but like I do kind of hope it's really bad because The Boys fans are just such annoying sacks of shit. Like, not all of them. A lot of Boys fans are good and normal and sane, but a lot of them, it's just like the idea of watching The Boys is like, oh, I'm so much better than you. I have such a higher IQ because I watch this deep show about the terribleness of the world, and it's saying so much about superhero media when in reality it's just violent, and also boobs kind of show up every once in a while. Yeah, that is true. Um, but yeah, so it seems like, yeah, The Pit is like way beyond killing it. And in addition to original series, and not. So in terms of acquired series, Blue is the one killing it. And then top 10 movies on streaming, Thrash. Thrash, that's, I believe, the new shark movie that, people are talking about. But yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home in preparation of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Got Zootopia 2, Jumanji, interestingly enough. So, yeah. So obviously there's a lot of broadcast stuff, but we won't be getting into that. I just kind of wanted to briefly talk about what the numbers were for mainly the box office, where it is, and then streaming, and then we'll see what Mandalorian and Grogu has this upcoming weekend. But Tyler Durden is literally me. Oof. Okay, cool. But yeah, next up, apparently Masters of the Universe, the first reactions from the premiere. The premiere just happened. There was actually a really nice moment between Nick Gazeltine, hope I'm pronouncing that right, and Dolph Lundgren. Dolph Lundgren literally passed the torch, or in this case, passed the sword to Nick Gazeltine's, He-Man. So that was very, very nice to see. Um, but yeah. So while the critics' reviews are embargoed till, closer to the June 5th release date, Amazon MGM Studios allowed premiere attendees to release brief social media reaction after the screening. Apparently, um, Courtney Howard had this to say: Masters of the Universe Shaggy Charms worked on me. A colossally epic time. Has a Guardians of the Galaxy style self-aware tone and a radical message at its core. Nick Galatzine. Nick Galatzine and Camila Mendez nailed it. Daniel Pemberton's rock score with the assistance of Brian May. It's so good. Stay through the credits because yes, it does have a post-credit scene. Bound to be one of the biggest surprises of 2026 for me. I loved Masters of the Universe. Nick Galatine looks the part in Masters of the Universe, but it's his comedic timing that steals the show. Knowingly cartoonish, packed with 80s vibes, and Jared Leto camps it up vocally as Skeletor. Slightly risque, but mostly family-friendly fun. Masters of the Universe is hell of a lot of fun. Galatine brings a sweetness to Adam that makes his take on He-Man memorable and also a fascinating take on masculinity. Masters of the Universe revives Saturday morning cartoon magic with massive action, silly laughs, and real heart. Truly epic. Masters of the Universe captures the magic of classic 80s cartoons with modern visuals, crowd-pleasing action, and adrenaline-fueled battles that will give you chills. I love Masters of the Universe. Love letter to everything He-Man. If you miss the hopeful, bright, and upbeat joy that the 80s once possessed, you have the power to find it again by watching Masters of the Universe. Master Universe has a very fun, weird, yet enjoyable last 20 minutes or so. As for the rest of the movie, it's a mess. Serious played for laughs, laughs played for emotion. It works, it doesn't. It really tries, but ends up being too awkward. Great end credits scenes, though. So, this was our first big, negative review. Master Universe is what happens when you watch the cartoon, grab your action figures, and make your own adventure. An absolute blast, laugh out loud, funny, and a fisto-powered punch of heart. I loved it. Everything you could want. Master Universe is everything this 80s kid wanted and more. The best thing about Master Universe is that it fully embraces its roots as an over-the-top 80s cartoon come to life. I kind of really wasn't vibing with this for a bit, but once it finally finds its footing, it's undeniably fun and unapologetically proud of its fantastical camp. Master Universe is like a sister film to the first Thor, struggles to find its footing in the first half, but once it locks on its themes of fragile masculinity and ego, it makes way for an incredibly fun time that's also visually stimulating. Nicholas Galatine is great. Master Universe has the power. Literally a Saturday morning cartoon come to life. Any 80s kid dream come true. Made me feel like a kid again. Crafted a perfect Masters of the Universe. Is a movie that knows what it is and leans hard into it and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, most people like this movie, but there's also a couple people that have said it is a bit messy, but finds its footing later on. So, Dan, what are your thoughts on these first reactions to Masters of the Universe? Does it make you more excited? Are you same level excited, or are you a little worried mainly with those few negative reviews in regards to it being a mess?
I thought even the negative reviews kind of sounded okay. Yes, I am here. I am here. Yeah, the William Shatner version is way better. But hey, Tony. Hey, Caleb. Hey, Stacy. Stacy's in Japan right now. No, I like this. I like these reactions. I think this is about as good as you can get it. Like the fact that they said it's got that self-aware nature of like what you would expect from Guardians of the Galaxy, where they're aware of the zany source material and to lean into it in all the right ways. That to me is all I wanted to hear. So I don't think Idris Elba and anybody in this movie are going to be getting any kind of award nominations out of this necessarily, but like, yeah, I'm sure the movie, the last thing I wanted to hear was like, oh my god, this thing is just hits the mark, like just misses the mark. And it's, just really, I don't know, like just zany and because the thing is, it's like you could have had a Minecraft or you could have had a, I don't know, like a Guardians of the Galaxy essentially. It feels like it's somewhere on that spectrum, but it's further away from Minecraft movie and closer to Guardians, which I think is good. Saturn of
We
War, sure,
master.
it could get an,
We universe.
you know,
Now it's time
maybe.
to be masters of the universe.
Yeah. No, I like
As
it.
I said,
like
I will give this an automatic 10 out of 10 if they have Skeletor saying "until we meet again." So
I'm sure that will be
until
coming.
we meet again. Anyway,
Didn't they release a clip of "I Have the Power"? Like
they
that's
did.
That's
They
yes.
did. That's the next thing. It
Okay.
is the famous transformation sequence. I have the power, and he, has the sword and does the thing, and he transforms into. Adam transforms into He-Man. So very nice.
Saw that. Man.
I saw the clip. Very fun. It's kind of the same one that's in the trailer, just a little bit longer. So yeah. Of course, everybody wants the meme. People love seeing memes in movies for the most part, unless they're executed well. But
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I think.
I was just gonna say, speaking of the '80s IP, there was like a Darius Rucker talking about wrestling story that we killed for the rundown. I just had
Yeah,
my like
we had too many quick hits,
yeah,
so we.
because I was like, I had my whole Dusty Rhodes Hard Times promo.
We
like,
can do
going,
tomorrow,
and Hard Times, Daddy is like,
Well, the thing is, Dad, half the time I don't know if you're gonna join me or not. So I was like, oh, I don't know anything about this. I can't talk about it.
No,
I
it's
don't
all
know
good.
if he's coming on.
It's all
So
good.
like,
well, I was just saying because like Tony's here, because like Tony loves to talk about wrestling. That would just have been a nice little touch. Anyway, it's
although
we'll worry about it
speaking
for next
of
time.
other '80s franchises, apparently Transformers the movie is getting a theatrical re-release from Fathom. So Optimus shall die for your sins once again.
They're leading into this, John, the apology tour, 40th anniversary.
But yeah, I kind of want to watch this because this is still considered by many to be the best Transformers movie. So
you really think so? I don't think that's how the people remember it. Like,
yeah,
what?
I mean, people were sad, but what's the fucking competition,
dude?
Transformers 5.
They literally killed off all the normal characters in the beginning of the movie just so that you can then go buy a bunch of new toys. It's like it was. I mean, it's obviously, if you were a fan of Transformers when this came out, you were like, like it was like the Red Wedding, but it happens in like the very beginning of the film. So.
Transformers did the Red Wedding first. You heard it here first.
You know what? I agree with you, Caleb. I think Mark Wahlberg's version.
Okay, we all know that the best
the
Transformers movies are Bumblebee and this, and the animated one, Transformers 1, and boom,
that's nice. I did hear that they will re-release the OG animated Transformers movie in Canada alongside Transformers 1, which, unfortunately not a lot of people went to see Transformers 1.
Yeah, because everyone said the first trailer was dog shit, so like, I'm not watching this. I didn't think it was that bad, but like it
was badly marketed.
The movie.
Again,
it was bad marketing. I liked the movie. Yeah. I didn't love it as much as like all the super duper hardcore Transformers fans did, but I thought it was pretty good. Like when he becomes fucking Optimus Prime. Holy fuck, that whole sequence, that made me like hard, bro. That was like that fucking whole sequence in that movie, that was worth the price of it. Like the rest of the movie's pretty good. That whole sequence where he's like falling down, they think he's dead, and then he like fucking gets like resurrected, and he literally becomes Jesus in that fucking scene. This was a joke of like, oh, he died for your sins. Thanks, Nostalgia Critic. But then like actually in Transformers 1, they're like, oh yeah, we're pulling that shit. So
I mean, look, that's the thing too with the Michael Bay Transformers movies. They leaned into the whole transformations to the point where literally like ILM was like, these animations are so complex that we need to like up our game, because they were having trouble rendering those things out, or they were taking literally days, weeks to render out frames, and there was like the one with Age of Extinction, he's like, that was crazy, but that was cool, right? And I'm like, yeah, it was. I love the transformation parts, and I don't know, that's what Transformers are about. So the kid in me was like, oh, he's just like it's That's
What
really
was that, Dan? Did you just have a stroke? What the fuck was that?
I was trying to do my sound effects voice, so
It
anyway.
didn't work. It didn't work. It sounded like you were having a stroke.
I
But
probably was watching the movie because it was just the third act of those movies is always too long. Like the Bay ones, like you just like, oh my god, 40 minutes into like Transformers fighting Transformers. I'm like, okay, my head is starting to hurt, Michael Bay. Come on, man. Like you gotta throw me a bone here. So anyway. All right. I
yes,
digress. It's good
but
if you're a fan, if you were a fan, or maybe you want to be part of the apology tour, go to see this when it comes out. Comes out again.
but the next thing again, kind of going with the '80s franchise, although technically it started in the '70s, but '80s franchise. Apparently more and more critics scores are coming in for Mandalorian and Grogu, and it's still split down the middle. Some calling it an absolute snooze fest, and the most boring Star Wars movie ever made. Some calling it the best in decades. So I don't know. I'm not going to see this, Dan. I don't know who you are trying to believe because I assume you're going to go see this. So what do you think? Who are you leaning on for this?
Um. Okay, so I am gonna go see it. I'm gonna go see it, so you don't have to. I'll do the whole list thing. I'm sure Liz will go see it for us anyway. But I mean, I was just gonna say it's kind of dividing the audience a lot, or the critics at least so far, in a way that I don't know. Was it unexpected? Maybe I guess it is unexpected because I thought for this it would either be really good or really bad, and it just ends up being something where it's somewhere in the middle. Yeah, Transformer sounds. It wasn't a dantism. You can call it a dantism, but it is a pretty wide spectrum when you go from one person saying it's the most boring Star Wars movie to the best in decades. One of the other headlines I saw said that this is not the way to, like, this is just genuinely enjoyable, or like it just is enough of a Star Wars movie to be okay, or like it's pretending to be a Star Wars movie but it's really not. It's just, I feel like the general sentiment here is that it's a lot of fun in a way that, a Star Wars people want to go into a Star Wars movie and not be preached to about like societal values, kind of, which I don't think that was like the overwhelming like reason why some people didn't like the sequel trilogy, because yes, there was elements where they were like doing things which felt like, oh,
Right.
like this is, we're gonna I don't know, like use Star Wars as allegory, which Star Wars has always been allegory, but not
Yeah,
like
like
at
literally
that
the
level.
original movie was a commentary on the Vietnam War. Like that's
Yeah, but
yeah.
like but some of those it seems like this movie, based on what I've read all the reviews from the critics, which I think we have a Rotten Tomato score, John, we can probably get to. I don't know if you're
Yeah.
able to load that up, but because the review embargo's up, and like I enjoyed the sequel trilogy, but the reviews for the Mandalorian and Grogu seem to be going for, it's playing it safe, it's a lot of fun, um but it doesn't feel like Star Wars in the way that I guess some people define Star Wars. So I'm guessing they played it safe. This was the first Star Wars movie to film completely in LA, which they've been promoting as a positive, but I'm just like, Star Wars is known for filming on location, practical, like, locations like the deserts and all those things. I don't know if it should be a brag.
So it seems like it's just
in LA,
barely like
but
positive, because as we all know, the threshold for a fresh tomato score is 60. I think certified fresh is like somewhere in the 70s, and then like then then it could be like 100. It kind of depends. But yeah.
But like I feel like on the spectrum of non-episodic Star Wars movies, this would be what, the third one. Hi, movie Spud. 61% is right on the edge. If it drops below 60, you're looking at rotten. So all that being said, yeah, shooting entirely in LA, great, sure. I just don't know if that's meant to be a brag, because Star Wars movies, they show scale by actually filming on location, and they didn't do as much of that in this movie. You could see that they use a lot of like sound stages and volume sets. I know they did some on location filming, as much as they can be done, and it's not like LA is a bad place to do that. I mean, LA is Hollywood, right? So that being said, I would just say go into the movie. Don't expect this to be the next greatest Star Wars movie thing ever. Enjoy it for what it is. Like, if you enjoy it for what it is and you're not expecting this to carry the weight of the entire franchise on its back, then I think you'll be fine. I
Yeah.
feel like Starfighter is probably gonna have a bigger scope, and also it's not it's not retreading old ground. And then what I mean by that is this movie takes place in a period in Star Wars lore that's already been traversed before. So it's more about discovering things we didn't know about that period of time, whereas Starfighter actually is moving forward. So, and I'm not trying to say like, oh, let's already start thinking about Starfighter. I'm just saying, go to the movie, have fun. If you don't like it, sure, fine. But like, I'll walk into this thinking, okay, it's like Solo. It's like one of those movies where you have fun with it, you don't like it, sure, fine, it's fine. Like this is likely not going to have a sequel unless it does really well at the box office. And you look at the critic score, John, 5.9 out of 10 is the average rating. So
there's
in
exactly 69 fresh ratings, and then 45
which
rotten.
is pretty mediocre, you know. So yeah.
And the average of rated reviews is around 6. Again, not great. So you know. I do like how they did put the average of rated reviews in there so it could help like kind of go against like what people think Rotten Tomatoes is when it's just like, oh, it means it's 61% good. It's like, no, 61% of people made good reviews. So there's that as well. But
yeah, no, it feels like a lukewarm, like Movie Spud said, lukewarm.
Also,
I think
okay, hang on. How the fuck does Secret World of Arrietty have a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes? That movie is cheeks. What the fuck are you talking about? That's not even close to Ghibli's best. What the Get out of here. Come on. Bullshit. Fucking Kiki and Ponyo, way better. Come on now. Come on now. Get out of here.
Sure. I would just.
That sounds like a fucking war crime, and I don't even like craft dinners. The Secret World of Arrietty, it's essentially it was Studio Ghibli's adaptation of The Borrowers. It was okay. Like it's not even close to Ghibli's best. Like in terms of like greatness, you got like Mononoke, Spirited Away, Kiki's Delivery Service. Those are like the best of the best. Secret World of Arrietty's like, eh. It's not like bad like Earwig and the Witch. That's like considered the bottom of the barrel, but it's not even close to the best. I don't know why the fuck it has a 94. Anyway.
I mean, John, I'm gonna go see it. We'll talk about it. We'll review it, Bandolin and Grogu. 61% isn't entirely convincing. And like I said, all the headlines I'm reading, even the positive ones, seem to have a caveat, but I mean, 61% is still on average positive. So we'll see how. And 114 reviews.
Apparently, Tales from Earthsea sucks, but like I've only heard 2 people say it's good. So like you and one of them. So, but anyway, speaking of things that need convincing, maybe not. Apparently, Billy Joel is getting the David Bowie treatment where he's getting a biopic, but he doesn't sign off on it. So we're getting none of the music in said biopic. Apparently the Billy and Me biopic got announced earlier today, and Billy Joel has said it's legally and professionally misguided. So apparently this movie, the plan is it's gonna take place from the eyes of his manager who like found him in like the late 60s, gave him a career, and that whole thing. I think it's taking place in like the late 60s and early 70s. So apparently, I believe like one of his band members like signed off on it, but Billy Joel himself did not sign off on it. So it seems like, cause there was a David Bowie biopic. I think it was like called like Starman or Space Oddity or something like that. And I think it had like Johnny something in the lead role. Nobody remembers it. It was like direct to video, but it didn't have any of the music, so nobody gave a shit. So it looks like this is the case, but I remember, Dan, maybe you remember this as well. I remember talking about, there was a completely different biopic about Billy Joel that was announced. I think it was like supposed to be produced by Michael Jai White's studio, Gigantic Studios.
I do remember talking about this. Yeah, somebody in the chat might remember also. I feel like there was another one. So I don't know what happened with that.
I don't know what happened with that one. I think they're trying to still get it off the ground. But yeah, this is definitely it's kind of a shame when it was first announced. I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, I fucking love Billy Joel. I grew up with Billy Joel. My mom is like a huge Billy Joel fan. Billy Joel still remains the only person I have seen in concert, although that is changing this July. But
Hey,
I
nice.
saw him at when Shea Stadium was getting torn down. They did one final concert. Billy Joel was the guy. Although ironically, he's a Yankees fan, but like they got Billy Joel to do this big last concert. Although I did not see it on the day that Paul McCartney came. Although I did see Tony Bennett there when he was singing with Billy, so that was nice. But yeah, it's just like I was excited for this, and then I heard, oh, Billy Joel's not like behind it, so I'm like, okay, then I don't want to watch it. If this is not signed off by Billy and it's not gonna have the music, then what's the point? Um, yes, I agree. I know my entire family's like Elton John's better. I'm like, while I would say Elton John is probably the better piano player, I prefer Billy Joel, but that's just my opinion. But to answer Stacy's question, if I had to pick a favorite Billy Joel song, probably Miami 2017, specifically the live version. Usually I don't prefer the live version, but the studio version is so slow. It's good, but it's slow. But the live version is like really fast paced, and I really like that. So that's probably my favorite Billy Joel song.
Nice. I mean, Paul Giamatti could be a good pick. I think Caleb was talking about it. If they were to
Well,
go
if he
in
could
that direction.
sing. I don't know if he could sing. Like, he has the
Does
look
he
of
have
Billy,
to,
but
though?
well,
Does he
here's the
have
thing.
to?
When it comes to like Billy Joel, I would want someone who can. I'd rather have someone who can sing than someone who looks like him. Like John Cusack doesn't look like Brian Wilson, but he sure as hell acted like Brian Wilson in
Okay.
Love and Mercy. So I would prefer something like that rather than someone who looks like him. And I think Paul Giamatti is just too old now to play, especially a young Billy. If I
Okay,
had to
that's
pick
fair.
somebody, like in terms of a look-alike, I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt would probably be pretty good. But I would prefer like a nobody that can sing like Billy Joel and maybe kind of sort of looks like him, but mainly someone who can sing like him.
All right, that's fair.
But
Fair. I mean, I can't argue with that. That's a good point. Yeah.
but yeah, I ain't watching this. This is a good read though, because he does kind of go on and on about how it's bullshit. But yeah, what a shame. But yeah, I mean, if they can get a biopic off the ground that Billy Joel supports, I will happily endorse that. But not this. Like, if it doesn't have Billy's seal of approval, then what's the point? Anyway, next
Exactly.
up, speaking of something that needs the seal of approval, is James Bond. Apparently, we have somebody saying, "Oh, we know who
Finally.
auditioned to play the next
Hey,
007." Doesn't mean this
007.
guy is gonna be, in the role, but this is the first actor we know who has auditioned for it, and apparently it is 26-year-old Tom Francis, best known for his stage work alongside Nicole Scherzinger in Jamie Lloyd's unconventional revival of Andrew Lloyd
Huh.
Webber's Sunset Boulevard, and one of the many performers jockeying for the part in a casting process that is ongoing. Unsurprisingly, he's on the younger side, which lines up with the reports that the studio wants an actor who can play Bond for at least the next decade. A recent Deadline report explained the actor chosen to play the next James Bond has got to ooze sex appeal, as well as the obvious stuff like, well, okay, actually being able to act as 007 director Nina Gold. Plus, as this column noted way back, the successful applicant picked to take on Ian Fleming's Commander Bond should be young enough to play him in 3 or 4 or more pictures. So I think that is good. Here's the thing. The reason I like this, I don't fucking know who Tom Francis even is. And on top of the fact, he's a theater actor, which is pretty good. So that's good. This is like the realm of who I want for Bond. Like, I don't want like fucking, get Tom Holland, get Jacob Elordi, get a famous guy. Because that's not what, made like Bond work. All the Bond actors were relative nobodies. Like fucking Sean Connery was a bodybuilder.
True.
Roger Moore
Mhm.
was known, I think, around the time for The Saint, but I don't know if he started it while he was Bond or after the fact. But yeah, so Roger
Mhm.
Moore and I would say Pierce Brosnan were probably the most well known when they were chosen. George Lazenby was a fucking model. Timothy Dalton was mainly a TV actor. So and Daniel Craig he did like maybe a couple like movie.
He did
He
a
did
couple
like
of things
Kid in
because
King Arthur's Court and shit like that. And like
because
he was in
he
Layer Cake.
yes
But
yes
stuff like that.
because I was gonna say he kind of took a bit of convincing by the Broccoli's. They wanted him, he didn't want it, and then it took a little bit of work to get him to take on the role because yeah, exactly. Yeah, this would be great. I think well again, if this is true and this is the direction they're going, Tom Francis could be that kind of a traditional pick where you go with the lesser known actor because ultimately you don't want to see Timothy Chalamet as James Bond. It's more 007 James Bond, whoever the hell is playing him, so
Yeah.
um like the role matters, like, and when you pick an A-lister then you kind of defeat the point. I mean, granted, every single one of those actors that played the role went on to become A-listers, but when you introduce them, they've generally gone with unknowns, like you said. So yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so I hope they pick someone
Let us know
good.
what
I
you
don't
think.
have a lot of trust in Amazon, but if that's kind of the realm where they're
Dude, I
going,
feel like
maybe.
they're going with like the best talent at every step of the way. Like even the casting director was pretty prolific. So I don't know. I feel like Amazon's putting in the effort. Now it doesn't mean that it's a guarantee that everything is going to turn out well, but
Right.
I feel like right now the amount of talent, from director to writer to the producers to the casting director. Uh, Amazon knows this is literally their crown jewel, so I
Hmm.
don't think they're gonna miss, at least not on purpose. But again, it's hard making a good movie. So yeah, we'll see how it turns out ultimately. But it's a good start. It's a good start if indeed that is true. That
100%.
this guy is in consideration. So yeah.
But now we move on to TV Talk Terror. Something that I figured you'd be happy to talk about. I did like catch
Hmm.
like the first few seconds, but The Agency season 2. Trust no one, not even Richard Gere. Unclear if that includes Michael Fassbender, but almost definitely.
Oh yeah.
So The Agency makes its glorious return. It's like, isn't this the show? Um, with
So
Tom Hiddleston that it like premiered like 10 years ago. It was a miniseries,
no
and
no
now
no
they're
no
bringing
no
it
no
back. Is
no,
is that
that
what?
I think that was a.
Hang on.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Sorry. I was gonna say this was originally a Showtime show, and then it kind of got bundled into Paramount with, like, because Paramount was doing this Paramount with Showtime, but now Showtime is more or less like kind of done and gone. They've sort of killed it. But basically, this is gonna be on Paramount Plus. I saw season one when it came out. I actually saw most of season one on a flight back from London last year, and then I finished it off. Because they didn't have all the episodes. It was just like, watch these many episodes, you get hooked on the show, and I sure as hell did get hooked on the show. It's got um somebody, I think it's Jodie Turner. Jodie Turner Smith is in there. She's I think one of the, she was in the Wakanda. She was Wakanda Forever. I think she's one of the Wakandan, like, soldiers, like the Royal Guard. Um, I think she's. I'm maybe getting that wrong. Then of course you got Michael Fassbender in this. Richard Gere, Jeffrey Wright is in this. And even beyond that, I forget. There's the chick from the Wizarding World movies. The what's the ones that are not Harry Potter, but the other ones.
Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic Beasts. I'm trying to remember. Catherine Waterston. She played, like,
Oh yeah.
Eddie
Okay, I know
Redmayne's
her.
character's love interest. She's in this too. But yes, the show is basically about, like, this. So Michael Fassbender play again. I'm not gonna give you spoilers, but Michael Fassbender plays like this corrupted by love, let's say, agent who basically breaks all the rules, but then somehow is getting away with it until, like, the end of the first season when things get really complicated. And so season two kind of picks up. If you watch the trailer, if you've seen season one, it makes sense. It's basically narrated by Michael Fassbender, kind of on a very, like, high level, addressing his character story. Hi M2G. I recommend watching this show because this show is one of the, currently on television, one of the best, grounded, gritty, feels very real, top of the line acting, directing. They shot a lot of it in London, which is where most of the show takes place. Um, it looks, it sounds, it is written really well. It's a lot better than that Simu Liu show that was on Peacock, the Copenhagen Test. The Agency is like prestige Showtime. Like if you loved Homeland, you would love this show. So I would highly recommend this. And I mean, Richard Gere, like automatic. I mean, you just add prestige to everything that he is a part of. So, and not to mention Jeffrey Wright, and of course Michael Fassbender is basically your lead character in this. Highly recommend it. Season 1 was great. I just rushed through it as fast as I could. I don't think there's that many episodes. I forget if it was 10 or 13, but it's not like, it's a streaming show. It comes from, like I said, the folks at Showtime. They know a thing or two about this kind of
because we've seen a
spy
thing
thriller.
or two.
They've seen a thing or two, literally, about spy thrillers. So I would recommend it. I'm very excited about season 2. I believe, John, if the dates in the article, it comes out in June, right? Is it June 21st? I think it was.
Yeah.
So it's like a month away now, and so I saw the teaser for this come out a few weeks ago. 10 episodes, second season. I believe the first season was also 10 episodes. It will be dropping every Sunday. June 21st is when it premieres, season 2. And yeah, Michael Fassbender, Richard Gere, Jeffrey Wright, who did I say? Catherine Waterston, Jodie Turner-Smith. Yeah, it's I mean, if those names don't convince you, again, like I said, it comes through like that Showtime legacy that Paramount Plus now has. It's now housed under Paramount Television Studios because like everything kind of got merged once Skydance came in. But if you do watch the show, then Fassbender definitely is bending. I'm just gonna stop there. But like, it's a TV MA show. So like there's all the stuff that you get from a TV MA spy thriller. The action in the bedroom as well as on the streets. So enjoy the fun. It gets dark, so like it's the kind of show where like after watching 4 episodes I probably wanted to like watch like a sitcom to kind of like have a palate cleanser of sorts. So but it's very immersive. So I saw the trailer for this, excited. It's a month away. I'm waiting anxiously. So yeah. And you know what? Michael Fassbender had a long streak of just stuff that just wasn't good. This is actually really good. I know it's a TV show, not a movie, but he carries the show on his shoulders at time, on his back at times, and all the other cast members only add to the greatness. So both in the streets and in the bedroom. That's what I said. Caleb. So there you go. Just, you wanted me to reiterate myself, so I reiterated. But yeah, all right, cool. The Agency season 2 drops June 21st. Go check it out. Michael Fassbender led show on Paramount Plus. It's one of the really good shows. I mean, Paramount Plus has a lot of good TV shows. If you're talking about, I feel like Peacock is the only streaming service where I'm like, there's really not that many good scripted TV shows. They got sports. They got some wrestling. They got a lot of reality shows. They got the Traders and stuff. But like Paramount Plus has like all the Taylor Sheridan shows. I mean, technically Yellowstone's on Peacock, but like even that's that's like the one exception to the rule. Yeah, I recommend it. If you haven't seen it, get caught up. You got a month to catch up, and then season 2 comes out. This and The Day of the Jackal I watched around the same time. Speaking of which, The Day of the Jackal was on Peacock. It's actually one of those like Sky collaborations because it's still all owned by Comcast. But yeah, that's got season 2 coming out soon as well, which we talked. I think they had a big casting news that we talked about the other day on it. So yeah. Anyway, I digress. I think we should move on.
Now we're moving on to a How Do You Do Fellow Kids show. But apparently Scooby-Doo is going anime style, and Tubi apparently is going to be premiering it from Warner Brothers Animation. So this will be kind of like the Scooby and Shaggy movies of like the 70s, where for some reason like Scooby and Shaggy and then Scrappy went on to their own adventures without like the rest of the gang. So that's essentially what they're doing here. And it seems like not only is it going on Tubi, which is the cream of the crop for original programming, but it's going to be called Yokoso Scooby-Doo, and it is going to bring back Matthew Lillard as Shaggy and Frank Welker as Scooby. and it's gonna have them with a bunch of new characters, and this actually sounds kind of, I don't think I'll watch it, but like this actually sounds kind of fun. Like after Velma, the only thing you can do is go up from here. Like, I mean, I'll take fucking like How Do You Do, Fellow Kids? We also do the anime over like whatever the fuck garbage Mindy Kaling tried to shit out onto a plate a couple years back. So, I'll take it. But Dan, would you watch Yokoso Scooby Doo?
Yokoso Scooby Doo, which I think is what is Yokoso translates to welcome,
No clue.
I think. Is that what it is? Welcome Scooby Doo, basically. If you scroll down in this, by the way, they do talk about while this is housed under Warner Brothers Animation, the revamped Warner Brothers Animation, they know that Scooby Doo's always been one of their big money makers. So I'm glad that they're expanding this franchise from the Netflix show to this and then whatever else they might have planned. But I believe this is being worked on. So while Warner Brothers Animation is where it's housed, there's actually like a Japanese production company that's working on it. I forget. It's not in those two paragraphs, but I think it's in the article somewhere. They listed the name. So like the actual studio working on this and like the showrunner, there are Japanese. So if you're talking about anime, like I don't know how anime like this will be, but it does seem like, it's not like, a bunch of American filmmakers or TV show folks working on it. I mean, yes, though they are part of the picture, but also you have a real Japanese animation studio working on the actual animation side. They're the ones doing the production work. So yeah, I'm excited about this. I mean, look, I'll watch anything Scooby-Doo. They said that it's going to be on Tubi and in United States, Cartoon Network internationally. Japan's OLM Studios will provide production services on the series. Itsuro Kawasaki will direct, with Francisco Paredes serving as co-producer. And like I said earlier, Yokoso translates to the word for welcome, so essentially it's Welcome Scooby-Doo. So yeah, this is great. Again, I feel like not putting this onto like HBO Max is again HBO Max saying we are making more adult programming primarily, and most kids-based programming is not our playground, which is I don't know, that programming strategy might change under the new ownership with David Allison in charge, but because David Allison Skydance also does a lot of kids animation, a lot of it with Apple, so you can find that stuff on Apple TV. But we'll see. Until then, I mean, you've got a lot of big IP that they've got, like Scooby-Doo. And yeah, Tubi's gonna get this in the US. So if you guys are in the US, you'll watch it on Tubi. It's on Cartoon Network abroad. I am excited. Scooby on Tubi. That works out nicely, movie Spud. Well said.
Hell yeah. I think this will be fun.
Dude,
I think
kids,
it
Caleb, anime people have loved for decades. It's not just the kids seem to love it now.
Well, just now that it's getting a lot of popularity, like it's really starting to become mainstream. You have more and more people, Warner Brothers especially, it seems like, being like, "Oh, we got to get on the anime train," and not the midnight train of Demon Slayer, but it feels like, to them it just feels like a trend, and the trend will die out when, again, as you said, this has been popular for decades. So it's like for now, like whether we get good content or not, it's like this is a trend that it's like superhero movies. It's like this is a trend.
No, I get
that they're trying
to
get.
I feel like superhero movies are no longer just a trend on that front, but like that's a longer conversation. We've talked about that before. This feels, to me, I have faith in it that this is not just a hop on the trend, because they have the Japanese OLM studios working on it. So, and then the showrunner is also part of that. So yeah, I think that to me is like that shot of hope in the arm, because it doesn't feel like it's a gimmick thing, right? Like it feels like it's gonna be more authentic. Which I hope, it stays true to that. So Clockwork Orange anime, you know what, Caleb, you root for that, and if they make one, we'll be here to watch it alongside you. But by the way, John put up the post for Fancast Friday. So yeah, we got a poll for Fancast Friday up now on the channel. You can click the link in the description or in the live chat. It's also just, if you just want to go to the community post section.
I did kind of mess up the spacing for that, but that's okay.
It's all good. So it happened. I've done that before, but yeah, we got some options there. We'll get back to that later on Tier List Tuesday. But yeah, the poll is up. Tier List Tuesday. You guys voted for Shrek, by the way. So there you go.
Hell yeah.
Anyway,
But next up, apparently, we've already got a depart of the Harry Potter show that is coming out this December. Apparently, the actress playing Ginny Weasley, Gracie Cochran, is apparently leaving the show due to unforeseen circumstances. And while we don't know a ton of details, some have been pointing to the fact apparently there's maybe been bullying on set, whether it's from other actors or from fans who are hating on the show because of JK Rowling and her views. We don't know. I just when I was getting sources for this, that I saw a one little thing in regards to that. So I don't know if that's true or not. Could be total bullshit, but it seems like Gracie Cochran is going to get replaced for season 2.
I think
due
because
to,
this is
you
an
know,
underage actor, obviously she's so young. I don't think they're gonna go into too much detail about why it happened. Not that they would do that even for an adult actor, but it's just, if that is the case, I mean, that's really sad that might be the reason why, if there's some kind of bullying. But also, it's she's a child. If her parents are not okay with it, if they're it may just be a decision where they were like, this is not the best choice for moving forward, and therefore we're gonna go in a different direction, and that's fine. Season 1 and even the second book, Chamber of Fears, Ginny has a relatively small role, so I don't think people are gonna feel the recasting as much.
yeah,
It's not
I
gonna
mean,
matter so much.
season 2 or Chamber of Secrets, the second book, definitely expands on her role.
It does,
and then she kind of goes away for a few book. I mean, she's there, but not majorly, and then she kind of comes back when she becomes Harry Potter's love interest.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, and she looked like she fit the family perfectly. You got all the Weasleys in the photo. I feel like she was a perfect fit. But again, I don't know if it's confirmed that it was indeed because of there's some kind of bullying thing, or it was just because of the rabid fandom around the franchise. But whatever the case might be, I mean, she's a really young girl who probably had a very bright acting career ahead of her, and if this is a decision that she and her parents or guardians made alongside the folks working on the show, then that's we got to respect it. And I'm sure they're going to bring in somebody who's going to be just as good as the new Ginny for season 2 and beyond, which we know season 2 is already greenlit, so they're probably well in the process of casting, because some of this news usually drops a little bit late. If this happened in actuality, it probably happened weeks ago. The decision was made, and only now is making it out into the public eye, not through a press release or anything, but this is just where things are at. So but yeah, wish her the very best in her future endeavors, and she will be there for season 1, so I'm sure a lot of people will look forward to that. And then the beat goes on, as they say.
And then
The beat goes on.
Speaking of the worst of humanity, Tony, we have The Boys. Apparently, season 5 breaks Prime Video ratings records despite fan backlash. Showrunner Kripke says the ratings prove that the final season's online reaction is not what's happening in the real world. Well, to be fair, just because a lot of people are watching doesn't mean the show is good. You could have a ton of people watching something and it be bad because people are hate watching or they want to finish up the season. It doesn't automatically mean that people like it, Yeah,
it's that thing of I think Eric Kripke could have taken the win and just been like, you know what, that's great, season 5 breaking Prime Video ratings records, awesome. But why do you gotta then go and tie it into the whole it proves that the online world is different from? I'm like, dude, the show is online. It's like a streaming show. It's not like you're flipping your cable channels. Yes, there has been a big backlash to some of what's happened in this season. Generally, with a lot of shows that are as big as this one, the final season creators will make some decisions that will be controversial for the fans, much like what we saw in this season of The Boys, the final season of The Boys. But despite that, obviously the show is doing really, really well. And the fact that they've broken their own record. Hi, Ron. Over my dead body, Ron. Anyway, it's fine. We're glad that you're here. Hit the like button. while you guys are here. We do appreciate that. But yeah, no, John, I just felt like this was like Eric Kripke could have just taken the win and just, you know, kept on rolling, but he had to tie it back to the
He
whole,
couldn't just be like, "I'll
you
take the
know,
win." Nope, couldn't do that. Couldn't do that.
you know, like the whole social media, like just let the people say what they got to say about the show. You did your work, you stand behind it, and let that be what it is, you know. And it's just, I guess it also kind of ties, it's like, it's very much, this show is known for that kind of like satire.
Well, I
and
mean,
very
to
good
be
hearts on
fair,
sleeves, so,
a lot of background
um,
characters die, but it's just so funny that like Anthony Starr was like dunking on Stranger Things for not killing anybody off, yet The Boys is literally doing the same exact thing. And Eric Kripke, when he was asked about it, he's like, "Oh, I wanted this to focus on character development this season." I'm like, "It's literally the final season. The character development should have happened 3 seasons ago. Like, you develop and then you develop it to the end point. And while season 5, well, yes, it's a show and you can still develop characters. This is the end point. This is your end game, and this is, from what I've heard of the fans who are still watching, because I stopped watching the show years ago, is that it's not. Yeah, sure, you can be mad like, "Oh, this isn't what I expected," but like when your writing is poor, it's like people are acting out of character, like, and this essentially, a lot of people are claiming that this is essentially one giant advertising for Vought Rising, which is the new spin-off, which is gonna be a prequel to all of
yeah.
this, with focusing on Soldier Boy. And it's just like, oh, okay. It's kind of like how, the Daniels, when they were working on Game of Thrones, um not the Daniels of Everything Everywhere All at Once and Swiss Army Man. Those are the good Daniels. The bad Daniels who did, Game of Thrones, they were pretty much speeding through Game of Thrones season 8 because they wanted to work on their next show, and that's why they decided, like, no, what, fuck it, I'm gonna end it. And then their fucking new show got canceled because of the controversy surrounding it. So, it's just sometimes just
Yeah.
obviously you can do a mix of what the fans want to see and what you want your vision to be, because it's just like you gotta, as Dan always says, you gotta leave the audience happy. And if you at least get them with the ending, then you can forgive them. But like, one, it's very hard to end a TV show because like 90% of TV show endings are considered terrible for most people. And
I mean,
two,
you
it's
can't
just
also
like,
satisfy everybody. Like, there's always
yeah,
gonna be
you
people
can't
who
satisfy everybody, and that's fine. But like,
don't like it. Yeah.
it just, I don't know. It just feels weird that it just like all the decisions. It's like, oh, and he's like, "Oh, we were watching like the ending of Breaking Bad on like to see all the fucking like loose ends that were tied up, and we went through our show to like tie up all the loose ends." Meanwhile, people are like, "Dude, you have like 80 loose ends at the end of your show, and there's one episode left that's gonna take place an hour." Like, say what you will about Stranger Things, you could say the fucking season finale sucks. You could say the whole season sucks. You could say like, "Oh, hey, gay people are evil," or whatever the fuck people were complaining about with Stranger Things season 5. But at least like you gave it time to breathe. Like, you had all these plot points, and then they actually were tied up pretty well from what I've heard. And it had like, it was that finale was like 2.5 hours, right? It was like a fucking movie. But at
Yep.
least that makes sense. It's like now you have like Eric Kripke being like, "Oh, well, we have all these plot points, and you only have one more episode, and it's an hour, not even." So it's like,
I mean,
what's
you
the point?
could you could still, like, you could still land the plane. Like, I'm just, by the way, I do watch Shrinking. I'm a little behind on it, Stacy, but I wanted to just, I know we kind of buried the headline on this. I just wanted to kind of review quickly, because to your point, John, the finale of the show airs tomorrow on Wednesday, so it's less than a day away now, and so I'm sure we'll talk about, like, the aftermath of that as the week goes on and whatnot. But it did, so basically the ratings number that was being quoted was, this season has reached 57 million views per episode globally, which ranks as the highest yet for the series, despite only 5 weeks of data, according to Amazon Prime Video. The season also ranks among the top 10 most viewed seasons for any Amazon Prime Video's original series, and it drove the streamer's largest 3-week rating surge of any show or movie. So it's doing really well. Now, there was some online backlash, obviously about some like episodes of the show, some of the events of certain episodes, and then without spoiling anything, some people have called like there's some filler in there. Like you said, John, they're trying to set up Watt Rising more so than like wrap up what's going on in this show. They have like a dozen main characters. What Eric Kripke was generally saying, to kind of paraphrase what he was saying, is the idea that he was like, look, I gotta remember sometimes, because I'm paying attention to all this social media and online reactions, that the online reactions are coming from a loud vocal minority compared to like the millions of people, like millions more people that are watching the show. Obviously 57 million viewers per episode globally is quite a few, right? And that's all true, it's all true. I think some of it he's kind of like thinking out loud, and it comes across as him being a little pretentious. So I will give him a little bit of credit. I will give him a little bit of credit on the idea that, he's maybe talking, because if you are in his position, you feel naked at times because you put your art, as an artist, you put your art out in the world for people to judge. And so, when somebody says it's absolute, because, the reactions on social media could get pretty vile. We've talked about it, whether it's for a show you like or you don't like. There are people out there who probably are bashing it over the top for no reason, and some people, who absolutely love it. But it's just the louder the voices, the more controversial the voice, the loud, opinion, the louder it gets on the internet today. So I understand that, there's a part of me which is like, forget, I get it, like where Eric Kripke is coming from. It's just, I wish that, in these kind of interviews, take the high road a little bit more often. But I also understand from a human artist perspective, like, like it got pretty loud, like the backlash against one of the latest episodes of The Boys, and he's put in years of time and effort, and obviously he's still going to be involved with this franchise moving forward. So yeah, I get it, but at the same time, take the high road. To your question, Stacy, I'm not all the way caught up, so I wouldn't be able to tell you if it's dipping in quality, but as far as I've gotten in shrinking, it is still as good as it started. So still one of the best shows on TV. It makes you feel good. It's like Ted Lasso but different. But yeah. I digress.
But
the beat goes
speaking of Stranger Things, apparently your boy David Harbour was not the first choice for Hopper. Apparently Billy Crudup was the first choice for Hopper, which was definitely a lot bigger than David Harbour in terms of the actor. I think I don't think he's on the morning show anymore. He was on the morning show, but I don't think he's on the show anymore.
He was. I mean, he left the Flash movie to do that. Good choice. But can you imagine? He wouldn't even be in the Flash movie if he signed up for Stranger Things, because that would have been taking up most of his time. So
yeah, and honestly, I think this was good because like I can't imagine Billy Crudup in that role. Like it's just like Billy Crudup is like this
kind of role.
Yeah, it's just I feel like Billy Crudup would have been a more confident,
right. I mean, he could play. It's just he's
not saying he can't. Yeah, I'm not saying he can't like play what Hopper essentially was, but like
but it gives a different visual. You know what I mean?
But he's like kind of has this like aura to him where he's like more confident, has like kind of like a more like stature to him than like David Harbour, who did this like kind of more, I wouldn't say loser, but he kind of was a loser at the start of the show because I mean he let the death of his daughter, like, you know, that grief like really get to him. Not saying that's a bad thing and makes him a loser. I'm just saying like he was, you know, he had a dad bod. He, you know, he was kind of flubby. He was kind of, you know, nobody really took him seriously as the sheriff, and he was stuck in this like podunk town and whatever.
Not by season's end, though. I will say this, though, like, it's, like you said, the social media trend, the whole, like, the dad bods are in now and everything, it became a cultural phenomenon. It completely changed his career, because until Stranger Things, David Harbour was doing stuff like playing, you know, government guy #2 in Suicide Squad in 2016.
So that's
and,
it,
like,
huh?
You know, like,
Stranger Things.
It was just, like, from that to... It was a cultural like zeitgeist moment because Hopper became one of these, to the point where the guy actually ended up with a 6 or 8 pack by season, was it 4? And then he has like a whole take your shirt off moment as like, and the mom's like, oh my god, like I really lucked out now that Russian prison did a number on you, Hopper. So like anyway, it was David Harbour's career certainly has changed, and I think You would be living in a very different timeline if Billy Crudup had played the role. So that's
Yes,
for sure.
but speaking of Billy Crudup, who was in Flash, which is DC, but we're talking about the opposite, Marvel. Perfect segue. MCU Weekly.
Oh yeah, totally.
There we go.
You got there at the end. You got there in the end. That's
So
good.
this was This was one of the articles yesterday. There was a new poster that was released ahead of the final trailer, which came out today, which we are going to be talking about soon enough. But this is the initial poster, kind of going for like a kind of more of a, I don't want to say generic vibe, but like it's kind of like you got like the floating heads, like, but it's kind of, it looks like it's like drawn with like a actual like pencil or paint or something like that. But definitely a very cool poster.
I like the
so
poster.
talking to Entertainment Weekly, in terms of what the idea of Ben Reilly is, Oren Uziel was asked whether Peter exists in the world of the show, and he's like, not yet, not in season 1, I don't think. Peter Parker is so synonymous to me with a young character and a coming-of-age story. The Ben Reilly character allows it to immediately distinguish itself from a Peter Parker story. Many fans believe Uziel is being cute, and that Spider-Noir will reveal that Ben is really Peter using a moniker. It's possible, especially as the comic book version of Ben Parker's first name and Aunt May's maiden name as his new identity. Still, we wouldn't bank on it, especially as another Peter Parker is set to take center stage in Brand New Day. Reflecting on working with Cage, Uziel added, every day on set when we walked in his trailer, he would come to work with, this bit is going to be from Bogart from The Big Sleep. This bit is going to be a little bit of Cagney. You're going to see some Peter Lorre here. He gets so much joy out of it. That's why he's Nick Cage. Because Nick Cage, talking about like the golden age of Hollywood is just like I could listen to it for hours. Like, I mean, Nick Cage is one of those people, like, he could talk about anything that he's passionate about for hours, but specifically when he's talking about like golden age of cinema, black and white movies, it's just like there's just a certain level of passion, like when he's specifically talking about that. And I'm just like, I want to hear everything you love about it and more. And that's just, it's so great. And yeah, I love that. So, but I think this is great to see. And I can't wait for Spider-Noir. It's coming out in about a week. So, okay. I don't know what you're referencing, but sure. Spider-Noir is releasing on, I believe it's MGM Plus, like on the 23rd or the 24th, and then it's going to be on Prime Video on the 27th. So about a week, 8 days from right now. But yeah, so obviously we talked about the poster. This was from yesterday, and now we talk about the final trailer, which doesn't reveal a ton in terms of, it's kind of like the same thing, some new footage, but essentially like it seems like Silvermane he's obviously the big bad. He's the the big like underground like guy that is in control of the city kind of thing. And it seems like that the characters, the whole thing, that the inciting incident is Felicia Hardy's character. She's not, I think Kat Hardy is her name or something like that. She's like, hey, my friend went missing, help me find him. And then that leads into the whole idea of like, oh, these guys are experimented on, and so Silvermane can like remain like in control of New York type of thing. So like that's definitely the vibe here, and that's definitely really interesting.
I didn't think that's where they were going with that, because it ties all of them together, like all these different villains, and obviously it gives this has this like 40s B movie camp effects to it a little bit. I love that they're leaning into that, and yet it feels prestige because you got Nick Cage in the middle of all that. The more I see of this show, the more I love it. So, and it's like, they somehow are making a 62-year-old Nicolas Cage doing, I'm not sure he's doing his own stunts, but certainly when his Spider-Man is swinging around or Spider-Noir is swinging around, he doesn't look like, you know, a 27-year-old, like he turns into a 27-year-old with the mask on. So I feel like making that feel believable, like the way he shoots his webs and stuff and he's falling off that building and stuff and everything that's in the trailer.
It looks like, but it looks like a struggle, but in a good way. Like you could clearly tell this guy, because like that's what they're setting up. It seems like he did, because this was shown in the previous trailer, not really this one. It's kind of hinted at where somebody like I think he had like a wife. She died. Either he failed at protecting her, or she died of natural causes, or Silvermane killed her. We don't know. And so he like retired from being the Spider because he's not Spider-Man. He's the Spider. And so I think that's like kind of interesting. And then he's like coming back into it because like now with all these experimentations from Silvermane, he's like, okay, I got to bring back the Spider.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely a very good way of doing it. And exactly, there you go. And I really like to end. The thing is, I like how like because like for instance, like I know Caleb likes bringing this up, but like the scene in like The Irishman where like Robert De Niro is like busting the guy like who fucked with his daughter, and it looks like he's about to break a hip even though he's supposed to be like 30 something years old, and it just comes off as really awkward. But this guy is like, he's 62 and he like looks and feels 62.
He moves like, yes.
Yeah, and like maybe not exactly, maybe he's like in his 50s or something like that.
Because I mean, you're talking about like the real Nick Cage is 62.
Yeah, real
like,
Nick Cage. I don't know how old Ben Reilly is going to be. I would imagine like he's probably like around in his 50s. But I just love how they're like, yeah, he's a guy that clearly barely fucking knows what he's doing. And then on top of the fact he's really fucking rusty. So there's that too. I really like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. It's also, it like watching this trailer, one of my first reactions was this feels like Batman crossing over with Spider-Man in the best ways imaginable, because like some of the themes are there. It's like they took the idea of Spider-Man but like laced it with some of the themes that you usually associate with Batman. And then, you know, the zaniness of Nick Cage, definitely you see a few moments like that, and it's just like, and you know what, like if you watch the color version of this trailer, some of the moments just play different. I'm kind of
I didn't
if I want to
look up
watch
specific, because the thing is when I looked up Spider-Noir final trailer, the first one was the color one. So I'm like, let me, and it was like 5 minutes before the show started. So I'm like, I'll just watch it. It's fine. And then I watch it and it feels like weird. Like I'm like, what I'm watching, like it just feels weird. Not bad or awful. I love how saturated and colorful it is. Like it's like, okay, if we're not gonna have like black and white, we're not gonna do like the boring like gray brown garbage. It looks colorful, and it looks like, you know what it looks like? It looks like the fucking Basket Case Green Day music video, where it's just like everything's oversaturated, but like in a good way. Like I really like that. So, but like with the black and white, it like looks and feels a lot better. So I like that. It's just like in the color, it's just like it doesn't hit as much as black and white. Like I think the black and white looks better.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm trying to decide still if I want to watch it first in black and white or in color, true color, whatever. Because it does give you a different sense of feeling. So I'm wondering maybe I'll try it one way and then see how that goes, and then maybe I'll, you know, switch it up for the second episodes and then see how, because yeah, like it's funny like how some of the moments from the trailer hit you different if you're watching the trailer in color versus black and white. And I like that exercise. I mean, a lot of people will probably watch it in black and white because they've been advertising it as like that being the primary way. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's anything wrong with trying to see it in both. It did the work. So I am watching Mando and Grogu this week, Steven, and we will be talking about it. But yeah, so I gotta catch up on Mortal Kombat. So, all right. Okay. I mean, you guys let us know what you guys thought about the Spider-Noir trailer. I thought this was
definitely made up for yesterday's trailer in regards to superhero stuff.
I enjoyed the Lanterns trailer. I thought that was a huge upgrade on the first one. They're also calling it teaser number 2, so they're not even calling it official trailer yet. So I bet you there's still at least one more big trailer before Lanterns comes out. But Spider-Noir trailers have just, all of them have been bangers, and this one, if this is the final trailer before the show comes out, then you know what? My appetite has been vetted, and then I am just drooling to watch the show when it drops on MGM Plus, which I do have, but also mostly for most people Amazon Prime Video. So, yeah. Are we getting the Doomsday trailer anytime soon? You know what? The earliest we probably get a Doomsday trailer is probably going to be in front of, or maybe even as the post-credit sequence to Spider-Man Brand New Day. I would bet that it's going to be around the time Brand New Day comes out, because at this point, you know, you could wait a little bit longer. I mean, nobody's telling me this information, but if I was a betting man, I would think the Spider-Man Brand New Day is probably around the time, which would be July, you know, June, July. So that's probably around the time we get it, like the peak summer box office season. You've got people going to see The Odyssey, Disclosure Day, Supergirl. You got, of course, Spider-Man Brand New Day, lots of big movies, you know, Toy Story 5, the new Minions film. They will do something at Comic-Con, but I don't think they wait for the first trailer to drop after or at Comic-Con. They probably give us the first trailer before that, because Comic-Con happens in August, right? Am I wrong about that? When we talk about Comic-Con, we're talking about specifically San Diego Comic-Con. So yeah, that suit, we did talk about that yesterday, Enterprising. It feels like the lantern suit that Hal wears feels a little too big on him. It just makes his, like, you know, Kyle Chandler's head look small, so it's kind of weird how that works. I'm sure you know, we will get used to it as we go. But you know what? Comic-Con this year, San Diego Comic-Con specifically, is July 23rd to the 26th. So I can also see them releasing it alongside Spider-Man Brand New Day to coincide with it, and then give us more footage or like a scene or some kind of featurette when they go to Comic-Con. Because like Comic-Con, they'll focus on other things too, not just the movie. Hopefully they'll give us more, you know, movie dates for other projects, maybe the TV shows they've got coming up in the not too distant future. But also they'll probably have the cast up. They'll, you know, they even if they give us a trailer before then, they'll probably have more footage to show at Comic-Con. So I wouldn't worry about that. Don't you worry. But anyway, let's keep on going.
But next up, in terms of the comic side of Marvel, apparently the guy helming the TV side of things for Marvel, apparently he's going to the comic side. Dan Buckley has exited Marvel Comics, so Brad Winderbaum is going from TV to comics, which we'll see how that works out. I don't have a ton of hope for that, but like, if Brad Winderbaum is very knowledgeable in the comic side of things and can make that work, then good for them. But I feel like this is also kind of a desperate move from Marvel, because you know, they're trying, because Marvel comics are not really selling all that well, especially in comparison to DC, because DC has their Absolute line. They're doing a lot of stuff to like make sure to sell to the right people. I'm not saying Brad is a bad thing. It just feels like a bit of a desperate move. Like, you know, there's the whole thing with we briefly talked about the whole Midnight thing, where it was like, oh, Marvel Comics, oh, we're gonna do like a horror thing. It's like, okay, now you're just trying to rip off Absolute because you want to make money. And then Brad Winderbaum, it's like, oh, this guy, obviously you're not going to have Kevin Feige helming the comics. So it's like, okay, let's get the next best guy because he's in charge of the movies. Brad Winderbaum is essentially the Kevin Feige of like TV Marvel. So, okay, let's get this guy to do it to hopefully maybe bring in the people that watch TV for Marvel and the MCU and bring them into the comic side of things. So it seems a bit of a desperate move. I don't think it's might be good, might be bad. I don't know. Literally, this just happened. So we all thought that the fucking new CEO of Xbox was gonna suck, and she's actually making some decent moves. So we'll see. Yeah, I hopefully this is a decent move from them, and we'll get good stuff out of it. But it just feels like a very weird move to bring in a TV guy into the comic space. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know if anybody.
No, I mean, I was just gonna say, this seems like they wanted to change the direction, and then Brad Winderbaum is already doing a lot of stuff for their TV and animation, so he probably knows a thing or two about Marvel Comics at this point. So, you know, them making the changes is fine. It seems like Dan Buckley has basically, been given the pink slip, but he's going to stay on, I think, until next year so that he can oversee the transition. And then David Abdo, they also mentioned, is coming over from Disney's music group to serve as the general manager of comics and franchise. So it's like Brad Winderbaum is becoming like the second most important person over at Marvel outside of Kevin Feige at this point. He's in charge of so many things and overseeing so much. So yeah, it's a big shakeup. We'll see what it turns into in terms of like actual change with Marvel Comics and what new initiatives they may or may not have as a result of it. So I'm sure we'll keep an eye on it. So yeah.
And then apparently, the bodyguard in One Last Kill, Manucci's bodyguard, was apparently a character named Barracuda. So, yeah. So Nucci is accompanied by a steely-looking individual, Jamal Johnson, only known as Barry in the credits, and director Ronaldo Marcus Green has now confirmed that the theories that this was supposed to be Barracuda. I mean, it's just nasty, gross, and amazing. They really went there. We want to pay homage to the comics, but also make our own thing, and hopefully the special stands alone in its own way. The Manucci character was just so much fun, and obviously, hopefully, a wink to Barracuda and whatever can come from that in the future of the MCU. In the comics, Barracuda was one of Castle's most dangerous foes, indulging in all manner of atrocities, including rape, mass murder, and cannibalism. Marvel has proven that they're not afraid to get their hands dirty, so to speak, with One Last Kill. But if Barracuda does return to the MCU, expect his predilections to be toned down just a little. So yeah, I think that could be cool. I don't know how. Now I'm the one punishing. I love that. Like, it was so perfectly cheesy. Love that. It definitely reminiscent of like Punisher Warzone, where it's like the parkour people, and then he fucking shoots a goddamn rocket launcher at them. That's just like same vibe, and good vibe. Same vibe, good vibe. Hopefully, I mean, he didn't really do much, but hopefully he can actually make that sadistic kind of character work. Whether he's actually, that actor stays with the character or not, but we'll see. But that's kind of cool. Again, wink and a nod, wink and a nod. Speaking of characters coming back, Ironheart actor Sacha Baron Cohen teases his MCU return as Mephisto. So we haven't had many updates on Mephisto since the ending of Ironheart, but during a new interview with Screen Rant, Cohen was asked who audiences can expect to see return next between Borat and Mephisto. I think Mephisto. I don't think Borat will ever return, which is definitely interesting. It's not much to go on, but there are theories that the manipulative sorcerer could make his presence felt in Vision Quest. Kevin Feige has previously indicated that there are plans in place for Mephisto's return. So, I mean, he is like a fucking huge character. One of the biggest characters he's the literal fucking devil. So yeah, I hope they can make that work. And if Sacha Baron Cohen really wants to get into that idea of Mephisto, what he is for the MCU, make him like a bigger character instead of the guy that showed up in Ironheart. I hope they do big things with him, because Mephisto is just crazy. And honestly, if they do a Midnight Suns movie, I think they should have Mephisto be the villain. I think that would make sense. Or whatever the fuck that was promised in Multiverse of Madness. I think that could be good. I don't know if Dan has, thoughts on this, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, sorry. I remember when they first, he was rumored to be playing this role for years before he actually, debuted in it. And then the reports were that he signed a multi-picture deal, a multi-appearance deal, and they might set him up over time to become a more significant character. Obviously, I think Kevin Feige knows the value of Mephisto, so we'll see where he shows up next. I don't think he's currently the big priority, because with everything going towards Avengers Doomsday, Doctor Doom is going to be the big one that they're going to focus on for a while. Could he make a cameo in Brand New Day? I'm sure that's possible. I feel like if they're going to introduce him and turn him in, well, they already did introduce him, but turn him into one of those like new big bads, then they need to take a slower approach. And Sacha Baron Cohen is not going to turn down more paydays from Marvel. So, his contract probably obliges him anyway, so it's not like he's got a choice. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see more of him. It would just, it's like, you know what? Like, if that's the only time we see Mephisto, it would be pretty disappointing considering people were talking about Mephisto as far back as WandaVision. And we're a long ways away from WandaVision today. So I hope we get more Mephisto in the future. Yeah, I would love to see more from him.
But speaking of Spider-Man, somebody mentioned him in the chat. Apparently, Tom Holland announces summer movie season in new promo. So essentially just gassing up Brand New Day, which is very cool.
I mean, it is the summer movie season. We're in the middle of May, and you know, Supergirl is just weeks away. You got Master of the Universe coming out in a couple of weeks. Mandalorian and Grogu comes out this week, and yes, Spider-Man Brand New Day is also like, you know, just weeks away at this point. The Odyssey Disclosure Day. It's gonna be a big summer, and Spider-Man probably will be that biggest movie of the summer, like the highest grossing movie of the summer. Not to mention Minions, Toy Story 5, and all the other ones. So, yeah, I mean, this is the beginning of the marketing campaign. They're gonna start pushing hard. Tom Holland, of course, gonna be front and center. This is one of those clips where they were like shooting in them, you know, like Supergirl and Superman. They've done this at DC. They do it at Marvel. They'll have these actors come in for a day or two and do all these, like, you know, scripted reads with a teleprompter and stuff, or like, you know, some actor interaction kind of elements. They'll use that for social media marketing, you know, for other Blu-ray features and whatnot. And so this is all part of it, and it's good. I think it's a natural part of the marketing cycle, and this is a sign that the movie's getting closer and closer. So yeah, summer movie season is definitely here.
Yeah, and I can't wait. I mean, Brand New Day, yeah. I mean, I'm not happy about X-Men possibly being in my Spider-Man movie, but I'm still excited for Spider-Man Brand New Day. This might be the first good MCU Spider-Man movie, so that's definitely exciting.
Yeah, there's a rumor that signed Sadie Sink to a multi-picture deal. So does that make her Jean Grey? I don't know. We'll see.
But speaking of Brand New Day, promo art features first look at Hulk versus Spidey, which isn't a lot. It's just, hey, merch. You got these flip flops, and
we've talked about before. Like, merch doesn't guarantee like that's gonna be in the movie, because this stuff is made, you know.
But it apparently is like
long time before,
from like the concept art that was released of you know, of Brand New Day. So there is that.
Yeah, but even then, a lot of this stuff is worked on, you know, and submitted. The designs are submitted to the merchandise companies months before, like, you know, the movie actually comes out. Oftentimes a year before. So I'm not saying it's not going to be in the movie. All I'm saying is if it is in the movie, it might look a little different, because, you know, things change as you go into production, as Marvel makes decisions in post production, reshoots, stuff like that. So. But it is good to see. It seems like at this point, it's almost a guarantee that the Hulk is going to be in the film. We're not just getting, you know, Bruce Banner. We're gonna get the Hulk, like the Savage Hulk. So that's exciting. People have been wanting to see that since before Avengers Infinity War. I think it was the last time we saw the Savage Hulk. It was Ragnarok, right? That was the last time.
I think. I don't know if we ever really truly saw Savage Hulk.
No, it was the beginning of Infinity War, where he takes a beating from Thanos and then goes hiding. That's what it was. Yeah. Although there was a bit of a time travel, like you saw him from a distance in Endgame, because it was a 2012 version of Hulk. But anyway, cool. Tight.
Yeah.
And the beat goes on. Speaking of Savage.
Speaking of Savage, apparently the X-Men 97 Season 2 trailer leaked online, which features X-Force, X-Factor, X-Men, all the X stuff, and
all the X stuff.
But yes, apparently this is, you know, let's not show that just in case. But apparently it did, you know, leak online, and I haven't taken a look because I don't believe this is real, but I mean, we'll see. But yeah.
Yeah. Is it leaked or is it leaked by Marvel? I don't know. Whatever, some kind of X-Men. Okay. Thank you, Caleb. But X-Men 97. I saw, like, there's a lot of fans of the show out there. I went to like a flea market a couple of weeks ago. I got a bunch of comics. I'll probably bring them on at some point this week on the show, but like there were people just like walking around wearing X-Men 97 shirts and stuff, and I was like, are you excited about season 2? And they were like, yeah, it's coming out in like a few weeks. I'm like, yes, it is. I'm not caught up on it, but maybe I will try to catch up on it. It's just it's a bit of a throwback because like the way X-Men 97 is made, the vibe that it gives, it feels like it's very much feels like a show from the 90s, like an animated Marvel show from the 90s. So yeah, it's like if you grew up on that kind of thing. Like I remember watching DC and Marvel animated shows in the 90s. This is that. So I'm excited to see how season 2 does. We have seen like What If kind of go down the wrong path. I feel like with the more seasons we get, the less entertaining it is. So we'll see how this becomes hopefully something better. So yeah, or continues to improve on what it had in season 1. Yeah.
And then probably the most important MCU news that we will be talking about today is that officially 100% Michael Jackson will return in Avengers Doomsday.
Caleb, you were right all along. Indeed, this is happening because some fan channel put it together, and I will tell you, it is legit impressive to watch this.
Honestly, I'd watch the movie if this were the case.
I would. I was like, John, if anything else didn't convince you, this definitely probably convinced you to go see the movie. Like, cue the Michael Jackson like Thriller popcorn, meme. That's Michael Jackson will return in Avengers Doomsday. It's just like they interweaved all the dialogue and the music and stuff and the scenes from Doomsday trailers and then everything from the Michael movie. This is great. We're not being serious, but shkadoom, or hee hee. In fact, John, the countdown clock, every time it ticks, it's a he. It's like he. I was like, I'd listen to that for so long. Yeah, Shimon. Yeah, exactly. Yep. He can moonwalk Doctor Doom to that. Michael can just, with his dancing and his music, he can achieve world peace. So I'm sure he can beat Doctor Doom as well. Yeah.
But speaking of world peace, you know what's gonna really bring about world peace, Dan?
Yeah.
Quick hits.
Oh, right, now, of course.
Yeah, it will 100% bring about world peace. So let's truly get you. And apparently, who's really bringing about world peace? Stephen fucking Colbert, according to this goddamn headline. Stephen Colbert made the hard parts of being human watchable. He was a late night TV show host. Calm the fuck down. It's not that serious. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not a big Stephen Colbert fan. I think he's fine in terms of like pantheon of greatness. Conan is like the best in terms of like current or like the modern era. Well, Johnny Carson's gonna remain the best, but like in terms of modern era, Conan was the best. But like, and don't get me wrong, Colbert getting canceled, it sucks. I don't agree with it. We know the real reasons as to why late night got, taken off, all that shit. But like, calm down. It's not that serious. He was a late.
Well, I think it's more. It might be the end of an era because this may be the first of whatever's left to go. And it was the high, because the thing is, Colbert is the highest rated late night show. And if Colbert can get canceled, then what are the odds that Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel may down the road also be getting canceled? Because if supposedly Colbert wasn't financially profitable enough for Paramount CBS to continue with it, what case can NBC and ABC make for their late night shows?
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean it's there's a lot of obviously politics involved with this, whether on the surface level or not. Hi D Cole. We'll get into that later, but I did consider for a moment, like, maybe we should because like Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel won't run new shows opposite Colbert this Friday, and then when we are doing our live shows, usually around the same time these late night shows are airing.
I don't think anybody here watching is gonna be watching Colbert, but like, if you don't want to do that show that night, then that's fine. But
we'll see. But you know what? Yeah, I mean, his career as a TV presenter began years ago, back with Comedy Central and whatnot. He actually He was on that show before Jon Stewart showed up. I was watching an interview where Stephen Colbert was talking about that, and then he was originally just an actor. He was like, I wanted to be an actor, then I became a writer because I had to write stuff for myself because nobody would hire me. And then from there he went on to do many other things, and now he's doing a Lord of the Rings movie, or writing one, with his son. So
yeah, but I mean,
yeah.
He is not the only one that had something to say about it. John Oliver shouts out, Stephen Colbert gets in one last jab at CBS. CBS, good luck, motherfuckers. So I will respect John Oliver for that one. So
yeah. Yeah, no, look, I just watching a couple episodes of John Oliver on the internet, and yeah, I loved the Last Week Tonight, and I love that he's able to like say stuff like that. I mean, if he can make fun of his business daddy all the time, I'm sure he can take a jab at CBS and he'll be just fine. But yeah, I mean, Stephen Colbert's not going anywhere. He's probably gonna have a podcast. He's gonna do a million other things. It's just the late night, and also it wasn't that long. Honestly, I feel like David Letterman and Jay Leno, like those guys had way longer runs on late night, not the same show, but like late night shows in general than Stephen Colbert did. It's just like today, it's just I think the world that we live in. And then Stephen Colbert on a personal level was talking about like he knew when he was ending the Colbert Report, so it was like a different kind of feeling than when he was just told the late show was going to be ending soon. So it's that idea of like you get told when the end date is versus when you pick it. So but I'm sure he's found closure. Like he's got a stacked cast of characters coming on this week. So yeah. Hey, Watcher. Yeah, no, I think the mystery of the star is a big one. Late night shows have sort of evolved in a lot of ways. I still like what late night shows provide in some ways. It's just the majority of their audience is on YouTube now. Most people just watch the clips and stuff. So maybe that's where late night will migrate to eventually. You guys can check out, we had a late night show on the channel, late night with Roland Underground. So you guys are welcome to go check that out. So that we ran that for a season, but anyway.
Although speaking of awkward shit involving lawsuits and political shit, Disney hit with class action over facial recognition technology at park entrances. Most visitors are unaware of the tools and opt into having their faces scanned. Mass adoption of the tools at sports and entertainment venues have sparked concerns of a privatized surveillance state. It's like, yeah, I mean, the NSA still exists, guys. Like, I mean, this isn't anything new. I mean, Edward Snowden fucking said this like fucking 10, 15 years ago already. So,
well, but the thing is,
not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying it's nothing new.
No, but the really insidious thing about this is you're opted into it by default, and you have to opt out of it to not be part of the whole thing. I know that they're doing it. They will tell you they're doing it because this way they're able to sort of like build it into a more seamless experience for you. But ultimately, it's all data that they're then we probably using to market to you and your your habits or whatnot. Like, what are you? It's in a from a capitalist standpoint, it's just ways for them to make more money off of their at a time where Disneyland prices are higher than ever before. So,
right.
But yeah, I'm glad this is the kind of lawsuit that will probably change or bring about change that's greater than just Disney alone. So hopefully that's good. That's good news.
Okay. Yeah. But now we move on to the next Disney story. Apparently, Disney is accused of staging a Pedro Pascal Mandalorian fan accounts. Apparently, Mandalorian and Grogu Star seemingly stunted a group of Disneyland tourists on Smuggler's Run, but things weren't exactly how they appeared, and they kind of go on with what happened.
Basically, what happened was they did this whole thing where Pedro, like, in one of these rides, like, you meant to come across a Mandalorian, but then Pedro Pascal's under the hood, actually takes off the helmet. Everybody goes wild. They promote it on social media and everything. They forget to now. This wasn't like it was secretly they were doing this and they didn't want to let anybody know what was going on. Disney was pretty transparent that these were social media influencers that were picked for this. It was staged in a certain way. Those social media influencers shared about this later on, but when they initially shared all the videos and stuff about the whole encounter, they didn't mention that this was like these were like, oh, the biggest influencer that your favorite influencers on the internet surprised by Pedro Pascal. It was sort of implied that they were just like average Disney park, fans. Like they were just visiting the park and they just happened to run into Pedro Pascal. And so people are like, you're being a little like deceptive. It's honestly, I don't really care. Like, but I'm sure there's a lot of Disney folks out there who are mad that they weren't part of this. That this was more staged and for like people that Disney paid to fly out to take part in this, which is, I guess they could be more upfront about that. Fair,
yeah,
whatever.
I guess.
Like, is
but
it gonna
again,
affect the
I
box
think
office
the
of the movie? I don't
NSA
think
surveillance is definitely worse than something
yeah,
like this.
Exactly. Exactly.
But speaking of things getting
adults
ruined, apparently very young Frankenstein lives at FX with series order. Zach Galifianakis, Dolly Wells, and Spencer House will star in the new take on the classic Mel Brooks movie. Now, what the headline doesn't tell you is that the destroyer of franchises, Taika Waititi, is going to be producing this. So, cool, another Mel Brooks thing ruined, and it's thanks to that fucking douchebag. So, I won't be watching this.
Didn't he also do the what we do in the shadows? I thought that was pretty
Yeah,
good.
I mean, to be fair, I never liked the original. I watched the movie, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's the greatest comedy this year." And I watch it, and I'm like, "This is like fucking mid as fuck." Like,
yeah. Anyway.
So, but I mean, Zach Galifianakis could be good in it, but yeah, not enough to make me watch it. And then we move on to an offer that we can definitely refuse because apparently The Godfather returns in 2027 with Untold Rise of Connie Corleone. I straight up had to look up who Connie was in the movie because I didn't like, oh yeah, Talia Shire's character. Okay. Yeah, the character nobody really fucking cared about, but like, sure. But yeah, like, just seems like a desperate attempt of like, oh, we need, a female perspective with this fucking franchise, and it's like, why do we care? Who cares about this?
Look, so basically they're writing a book. Author Adriana Trigiani is writing a book, and then Paramount Pictures is developing a movie. They don't have like a release date or anything for the movie, but the book comes out in 2027, and then simultaneously they'll be developing a movie. So eventually we'll get another movie that expands the world of The Godfather. So there you go. Yeah.
But yeah, don't really care unless Francis Ford Coppola is a part of it, but I don't think he will be. But he might, maybe he'll try to fucking get like a check for it because he needs it after Megalopolis failed.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, next up, HBO Max adding podcasts in Europe to serve up immersive fandom. Warner Bros. Discovery Streamer is taking a page from its US playbook at a time when Netflix has been making a podcasting push, and Paramount is believed to be eyeing the same for Paramount Plus. It's not just Harry Potter, but it's all sorts of podcasts. So yeah, that makes sense. Podcasts are definitely being pushed now. So
every show has a companion podcast, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It's just one of those things where most of those tend to be extra calories for super fans. It's not really giving you too much like extra beyond like just little tidbits here and there. Like for example, I used to watch the Star Trek one that went along with like Star Trek Discovery and stuff, and most of those episodes were just like put it on in the background after the show ends if you want to listen to it, but it's not really adding to my day necessarily. So yeah, but I mean, podcasts are the way to go right now, so all the streaming services are adding them, so it's not surprised that they'll be doing this for Harry Potter as well.
But yeah. Next up, apparently Hello Kitty Movie Land's directors David Derrick Jr. and John Oyashima for Warner Brothers. Apparently they're developing a theatrical feature based on, I remember talking about this a while back.
About this,
yeah, about Hello Kitty in 2028. Why? Who cares?
Hey, Warner Brothers Animation doing more things. Hello Kitty, they got directors now. Can't wait. I guess like we'll see. I'm sure we'll talk about it when it comes out.
Yep. Speaking of stuff we don't care about, Grey's Anatomy. Apparently, it's getting a spinoff set in Texas, and it's ordered at ABC because why? Sure, not. Why not? Why not? Why
expanding the Grey's Anatomy verse? Apparently, so yeah, Texas. Grey's Anatomy, Texas. Sure.
Eric Dane didn't die for this shit. Anyway, South Park season 29 sets fall premiere date. Apparently, new episodes will drop every other Wednesday, September 30th, October 14th, October 28th, November 11th, and November 25th. I feel like this is definitely the case of like Paramount trying to like get rid of South Park because like the seasons are so short. It's every other week, and like nobody's talking about it as heavily as like that initial episode of like season 27, I think it was. So I hope that's not the case, but considering that Paramount is in bed with one of the two people in this image, I won't say who, but you know, it's definitely a three-way is happening between the three of them. So
I mean, to be fair, they did kind of let these guys do their thing last time out. So, you know, like I'm sure it'll be like they'll get on with it. I'm not really a big South Park person myself, Steven. So, yeah.
But yeah. Next up, apparently Kevin Hart's roast hits 13.5 million viewers in 1 week on Netflix, down slightly from the Tom Brady roast, which is expected because Tom Brady is more of a noteworthy name than Kevin Hart. But
I mean, you didn't
yeah,
have Bill Belichick on for this one, that's why.
Yeah. But good for them, I guess. But yeah,
not bad at all. I mean, it controversy or otherwise, it at least got the views, which is what Netflix cares about.
Yeah. Although speaking of cinema, apparently Francesca Scorsese is going with the Nepo baby treatment because apparently she's an actress now and she's going to be in Mr. and Mrs. Smith season 2. So
in a few things, not really too notable. I saw her like she did like a reel with her father Martin Scorsese a while ago. I think she's like a social media person too. Yeah, wouldn't mind seeing if she actually got the chops. I don't know. It doesn't seem like she's got a big role, but she's got a role. She's not the Mrs. Smith in the show. I think they already cast the two leads. We talked about that a while ago too. But anyway, yeah, is she a good actress? I have no idea. She hasn't done enough work to really be able to tell you that. But this would probably be our highest profile role yet. So we'll see what it turns into.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's it for Quick Hits. We're done. Thanks for watching this side of the news. Now we're going to get into DCU Daily. So let's get that party started and be #blessed, ladies and gents.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in the stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Honka honka.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to DCU Daily. We don't have a ton, but we're going to be talking about a little bit of stuff from yesterday, a little bit a couple new things from today. I'm definitely going to be doing DC stuff after. I'm gonna be after we're done with this and Tier List Tuesday. I'm gonna be playing Legacy of the Dark Knight for the next like fucking 6 hours. I'm not getting sleep tonight, ladies and gents. I am not getting sleep tonight because I was all busy today. I was doing family stuff, so I didn't have time to play Legacy of the Dark Knight. But I'm playing it. I'm gonna be playing it tonight. So that's where I'm gonna get my DC playtime. Since there isn't a lot today. But Dan, what are you excited to talk about in DC Daily today?
Well, not Rachel, but like I am excited. Lars Ettinger talking about Brainiac was, I think, really interesting. I thought the James Gunn speech at SLU was pretty fantastic, and then of course we'll get into some more of the aftermath of the Lanterns trailer as well. So yeah, lots of good stuff to get into. Of course we got you guys in the chat. Watcher is here. Eric, of course, Enterprising, Caleb, and you know the whole gang are here. Well, not like Liz, but you know, the gang that Liz refers to is here. Yeah, John, you gotta review it for us tomorrow. Talk about.
Well, I'm not gonna finish the game, but like I'll talk about it.
Your experience, your first reaction,
first impressions. Yes,
first impressions.
I will be talking about first impressions.
Yes.
So yeah,
James Gunn's speech was inspiring. It was. We will get into that. So let's get into it without further ado.
So the first thing that first thing is, quick hits, Paradox, Falcons, and DCU news. So the first thing that was interesting that was said, I think either yesterday or 2 days ago, was apparently Nicholas Winding Refn reveals that he wants to make a Batgirl movie. And I'm like, first off, I screamed no. And then I was like, hang on a sec, let me back up a sec. And then I'm like, no, please God, no. No. Let's not do that. Then I read his quote and I'm like, still, fuck no. But we'll talk about it. So apparently he had this to say in regards to Batgirl. He's like, I would love to do Batgirl, he told Deadline, because Wonder Woman is done. That one I thought was super heavy. However, although that's not the main quote, I don't know if I'll make an actual IP. As for why he chose Batgirl, the costumes, I love the aesthetics. A lot of her private hell is my obsession with dolls, objects, and how to move people around in space and time. I love the objectification of objects and superheroes and comic books and that whole subculture. It's where I come from. I collect Japanese toys and I play with Legos. Okay, this guy is like talking like not a human being. But to be fair, English is probably his second language, and that's probably why he's like not talking like normally. But that's why he's not really making a lot of sense. But like, what the fuck does the objectification of objects mean? Like, what are you talking about? But I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. Here's the thing. You. It doesn't feel, this doesn't, and I'm not just like trying to shit on the guy. Like, if you want, like, throw your hat in the ring, fine. But like, it just feels weird because like, one, he does a lot of like really artsy fartsy movies. So like him being like, oh yeah, I want to do a superhero IP. I'm like, I don't know if that works. And I even don't think his aesthetic, his vibe really fits for Batgirl. But also the fact of like, the man hasn't made a good hit since Drive. Apparently, because the reason he's doing this interview is because he was talking about his new movie. I think it was Sophie Thatcher is in it. I think it recently premiered at like a film festival or something, and it's like really pretentious and like apparently, there's like lesbian sex in it or something. So, but yeah, because a friend of mine, she was going on, she's like, oh my God, it's the greatest thing ever. I'm like, it's not a good movie. She's like, I don't care if it'll be a good movie or not. I'd watch it. I'm like, okay, you do you.
Okay.
But yeah, it just feels like the man hasn't had a hit since Drive. He had a lot of weird indie hits. Like Bronson is a big one with Tom Hardy. That was before both he and Tom Hardy were super famous. And then he hit it big with Drive. That's the thing that people really go to nowadays. And so then he's like, okay, cool. And then he hasn't made anything of note since. He did Only God Forgives, which people hated, Neon Demon, which people hated. I think he made another movie and that wasn't well liked, and now he's making his newest movie. And yeah, no, just no. Mm-mm.
You're not convinced. Yeah, I don't know. I look, I feel like this is such an what if situation that I really don't know what else to add to that, because I don't even think they're thinking about doing a Batgirl movie anytime soon. The last one they did, they locked away and lost the key. So for all we know, like Batgirl, I mean, we don't even know if she's going to be a part of like the upcoming Brave and the Bold like lineup of Bat characters. So, would I like to see another Batgirl movie? Sure. Am I gonna feel really strongly about this particular director working on one? I mean, you gotta shoot your shot. It doesn't hurt to shoot your shot. Like, put your name out there. Like, if you want to do it, there's you shoot your shot and see if James Gunn might pick up the phone and give you a ring. But ultimately, James Gunn's approach has been either they're soliciting pitches from writers on stuff, or somebody that they already know pitches them something, like a Mike Flanagan, which actually ended up being something that was pitched before the DC Studios thing was even set up, and it just ends up working out. Or Ana Negreira came with a really strong concept for Supergirl, which we're now getting as a movie. So yeah, shoot your shot. I'm sure like you wanted to, direct a Batgirl movie. Doesn't mean they'll let you do one. Not to mention, I don't think there's anything in the plans right now. I feel like Batgirl, particularly because of the situation around the last movie with under the I don't. Well, David Zaslav is still the current regime. I was gonna say previous regime, not quite there yet. They're probably get like it's like the Flash. They probably don't want to do anything Batgirl related for a long time. So I think we're in yeah. That's I think where we are at right now. So yeah, I'm not too worried about this.
Okay. But then next up, we have Lars Eidinger talking about Brainiac, saying he describes Brainiac as the incarnation of Satan.
Oh, wow.
We did talk about Lars Eidinger seeing like Superman on these big wires, and he's like, this is the essence of fiction.
This guy does not play around.
Guys,
Holy
we
cow.
need to make the essence of fiction from Lars Eidinger be the new absolute cinema, because I feel like essence of fiction is definitely like that's a good line.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was saying all of this in regards to, in addition to what we were talking about a couple days ago. Even if it seems surprising at first, these films have a serious philosophical ambition. They carry great allegorical weight for me. Take just the word super, it's used as a superlative for something excellent, wonderful, but super really only means over or above. So Superman is the Ubermensch. You have the super ego, which I agree with. Like the whole idea of the Ubermensch was, I think that was Nietzsche, I believe. And he continued by saying there's already a deep psychological dimension built in. Last week, I was on set during rehearsals, and, this is where what he was talking about, where he saw the actor in the Superman costume suspended on wires in front of a blue screen. I looked at that image and thought, this is the essence of fiction. And then he compared it to Hamlet holding the skull, which is probably that's probably the most, like, biggest and most culturally relevant thing from fiction ever, like, is Hamlet with the skulls. So but then he goes on to say, which we didn't touch on, is being in the Superman universe wasn't a dream or burning desire for me, but now that it's happening, I can see a certain inevitability in it, something almost fated. Damn, I will say, like, with how, like, seriously he's treating this, I'm like, James Gunn fucking cooked, bro. Like, damn, I never thought,
Got a
like,
pretentious
in a
actor,
world, like, you're making,
this
like, someone like
guy
Ray
is-
Fiennes, who was a popular fan casting, we fan casted
Yeah.
him as Brainiac, making him look like the shitty choice in terms of how he's describing this.
He's got a real, like, theater kid here, like, a thinking man's Brainiac, which sounds like a onomatopoeia. No, like what would that be? A thinking man's Brainiac? Like, it's whatever that is, but like, that's what we got here with Lars Eidinger. he's really living the mythology of it all. Like, he's really leading into that, which is great to see that.
But he also continued with his work in theater, and working in theater enormously helped him prepare him for his blockbuster debut. It involves a different register of performance, one that isn't primarily realistic and allows for a far more expressive style of playing. When I watch a film like James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy, I find it has a great theatrical quality in the handling of good and evil, and in a certain tendency towards allegory. Brainiac is described as the incarnation of Satan. I find that almost Shakespearean. The King, the Fool. There are so many parallels for me. So yeah, that's essentially where the headline came from. So yeah, I think like, say what you will, James Gunn cooked with his the actor playing Brainiac here, because I'm like, Lars Eidinger, who the fuck is that? And then I touched upon that clip where it was him and Richard III, where it was like kind of like this modern kind of like vibe to the whole thing. And I'm like, okay, this guy is something. And then with this, I'm like, oh, James Gunn fucking cooked, bro. Yeah, I think we're in good hands, as Caleb said. So yeah, that's terribly exciting. And God, I just want to get through this shitty year for DC and then just fucking get
Dude,
to
you
this.
never know. Like Clayface, Supergirl, and
I mean,
Lanterns might all
Clayface, I'm
surprise
excited
you.
for. Legacy of the Dark Knight, I'm
So,
very excited for because I'm about to
I'm
play
just
that tonight.
saying.
So
I'm just saying, you might be pleasantly surprised with all of those projects. You never know. But yeah, I mean, obviously we're gonna be talking about Man of Tomorrow as the year goes on. We will have lots to talk about because there'll be set photos, more casting news probably. So I'm sure we'll have more to get into. But yeah, I mean, Lars Eidinger definitely understands the assignment, and he's dishing it out, I'm sure, on set and to the media right now. So it's good.
but now we move on to what did Gunn say? We briefly talked about this yesterday, but now we have an actual clip of him having that commencement speech.
Are you
at
able to
the
share
SLU
the
alumnus.
sound so we can play it back and listen
No,
to it?
we
I don't know
can't.
if you're okay.
With how StreamYard works, it's very specific with how it shares sound, and I can't
Okay.
share it.
Well,
unfortunately.
it's all good. I mean, but this was shared by the St. Louis University, so you guys can go and find it on Instagram. I'm sure it's on their YouTube.
I mean, he did post the
inspirational.
whole video, not just
Yeah.
like this aspect. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing that he said was like, obstacles as opportunities was the theme. And he talked a lot about, when he got fired. He talked about also like growing up, because of however his childhood was, he kind of had this like want to be like he wanted to become famous. Like that's why he was making movies, because he wanted to like for people to love him, and that's where he put a lot of the importance in his respect was tied in like people loving him, and that was through like if I'm famous making movies, people will love me for it. And then of course like the comments that he made on this Twitter tweets a long time ago, that all when that came up, getting fired from a big Marvel project, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, he was like, I think my career might be over. And his now wife, at the time girlfriend, Jennifer Holland, was still standing by him, advocated for him, his family, his whole Guardians of the Galaxy cast and fam, like that he calls another second family. So, and he saw like when those people stood by him in that time, he was just talking about how that's when he felt loved for the first time. And he kind of changed his perspective at that time, and because he was like, look, I was able to go do this DC movie, The Suicide Squad, and now because of that, I am the co-CEO of DC Studios. It's like those obstacles turn into all kinds of opportunities. I think he also said this, but I mean also it's worth saying, it doesn't mean that all of us will go from that nadir to like that kind of a high mark. It's that's not guaranteed, but I think the lesson still holds true that you can look at obstacles as opportunities. It's if you try to treat that whatever obstacle you are facing now, professionally, personally, whatever part of your life, you look at that and maybe change your perspective and be like, how can I turn this into an opportunity for myself to do better, to do different? And it's a positive mindset. It's more motivating that way. And then also, I think more times than not, like having that problem solving mindset you can maybe bring into that picture will lead to better outcomes for you than if you just were like, oh god, the world is against me, everything is bad, my career's over, this is terrible, I'm not going to go anywhere. Like, don't give up is basically what he's saying. Like, and I mean, he can speak to that at a level that I think a lot of people today can't, because there was a time where he was practically canceled, and like he said, like, I might not make a single dollar working in this business ever again. And from that to where he is today is really, I'm not gonna say it's an inspirational story necessarily, but it is certainly one that makes you wonder, like, hey, things could have turned out very differently. But and obviously I think we look at how he's going about running DC and DC Studios. James Gunn is not a terrible person. He's not a bad guy. And watching Superman again recently, I can tell you, like, I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen it too, obviously many a times, probably more than me. He's a good filmmaker. He's a good storyteller. And I think maybe his heart was in the wrong place before. You make them like Martin Scorsese. I think in one of his master classes, I think it was when I listened for a long time ago, I was listening to it. He was like, if you want to make a movie, like if I want to make a movie, it's like a story that I just like, I need to tell the story. It's this like I have to tell the story. That's what that when if you know that you're gonna be a director making a movie, you have to have that thing of like it's just I need to let this out. That's my art, and that's how he looks at his movies. Is like I need to tell this story. And then Spike Lee kind of like has a similar approach to that. It's just because it's hard making movies and actualizing these goals even today with how accessible movie making is. It's not cheap. It's even if it is accessible, it's not easy to like get it in front of people to have the kind of success that you need to have to like at least be profitable on the investment that you made. And so you really got to be committed to it. And obviously James Gunn is one of those folks, and he went from the highest of the highs to the lows of the lows to now even higher than he could have ever probably imagined ever getting in his career. So obstacles are opportunities. Exactly. Great speech by James Gunn. So
but I think he definitely said everything properly, and I liked with very, very, as Caleb said, very much hopecore. But what's not hopeful? This fucking show that's going to be the bane of my existence. So apparently
just get on board, John. Just get on
HBO
board.
Max. No, I'm not fucking bending my fucking credibility for popularity. Fuck that. So apparently there was this cute little fucking promo reel in regards to Lanterns that HBO Max posted. Very nice, very cute.
It's a nice promotional thing where they put a lot of the three lanterns side by side in some shots. It's thematically in line with the trailer itself that we talked about yesterday. Again, the marketing for the show is picking up. So
it's bombing, G. It's bombing. So it looks like Elite Easy is the new. I think Figure Drawing fucking unsubscribed and fucking stopped watching us because
you banned it. Like, come on, man.
I didn't ban him. I fucking timed him out because he was being a prick, and then he fucking never commented again. I looked into our settings in terms of the list of people we have blocked, and he was not on there. So
no, I know. I'm not saying. I think it wasn't permanent, but it was just. It is what it is. We're past it. We're past it. I think Figure will be back eventually.
He has gone the way of Lenny Solon. Remember Lenny? Good times. And then she got mad because accused of being racist.
there's another story behind. We'll
good times. Anyway, so the second Lanterns trailer breakdown. Everything we learned about DCU's bold new take on Green Lantern. So it seems like this is Sinestro in prison. As you mentioned, there was like that crack in that planet that that it looked like Hal was flying to, and it seems as though this is Sinestro. I hope it's not just like him being a guy. Like you can barely tell, but I think he has the pink. I hope he has the pink skin. But yeah, you can kind of see, and Hal in his weird baggy fucking flight suit. So yeah,
the suit does look a little like big on him.
It just looks awkward, like it doesn't properly fit.
But maybe that's on. Maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe it's on purpose. Maybe because it needs to survive space, and I don't know how all that works. I don't know how much of they're gonna ground in the physics of the world versus how much of it is like, oh, it's just lanterns. It's just like it's a freaking ring that creates projections that do all kinds of shit. Like it's so. Whatever. Like,
he got mad that that I liked Moist Critical and Gabe Newell. That was essentially his crash out. But yeah. but yeah, it's.
To me, I don't think he looks like he's got pink skin. I'm having seen the trailer a few times.
Yeah, which is I didn't fucking stupid, but
So, I'm just saying. But we don't get to see much of him there.
But we kind of see something right here. Like that doesn't look like regular skin.
Maybe, I don't know. Okay, I guess. I guess we'll find out soon enough.
But yeah, obviously we've been kept in the dark about Sinestro. We just know that this Ulrich Thompson, I think his name was.
Yeah, Earl Thompson.
I think I don't think he's the main villain because obviously one, he's in prison. Not like that could stop a villain, but it doesn't make sense. It feels like he's just gonna be there to set stuff up for the future where Sinestro will come in and be the villain. Plus, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Oh yeah, make Sinestro the villain right out the gate. You gotta like build to that if they do plan to do a season 2, and we'll get to that soon. I think that's just something they should build up to. So I will agree with that was a good move. So yeah. So we have that, and then of course we have the constructs. We have green, guys. That means the trailer's good, said everyone. But yeah, I think
I thought it was an improvement. I anyway, but like we've talked about that before.
But yeah, I think the constructs look relatively okay. They look consistent with the one shown in Superman, which is a good thing. Like, try to be consistent as you can.
The rings look different.
Though, well, I mean, to be fair, the rings do they're suited to your specific person. Like, they're like more of an individualist thing of like, hey, this fits my personality and vibes. So,
I see.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the constructs look good, so I'll give that. Like, again, it's a dog shit trailer, but like I can admit when stuff looks good. Okay, I can admit it, and the constructs look pretty good. Basic, basic fucking thing of like, okay, the constructs look good. Like the one fucking thing that actually looks like a Green Lantern show, you managed to get right. Congratulations. You missed everything else, but like you got the constructs.
Hi,
right.
Jose. Jose is like, guys, calm down. It's gonna be a good show. Tony, like, I think. Well, I don't think this show will flop completely. I mean, this is HBO. Like, that's where I'm like, ultimately, at the end of the day, this is still HBO. So, but yeah, I do like the design of the ring they're using in the show, by the way.
Yeah, and I like how like they have like, again, I do like the world building where it's like, okay, we're actually getting heroes.
Yeah.
That existed before Superman. I like that. But that was pretty much shown in Superman, where you had the whole mural. You had like, Shining Knight and Vibe and Wildcat and all those guys that were on that mural. So that was good. But here is like a tangible thing. Like, okay, we have like commemorative stuff of characters we may or may not see. Here is like a tangible thing of like Jon Stewart watching Hal Jordan on TV of him being Green Lantern fucking 30 years ago. So I'm like, all right, that's something.
Never meet your heroes, I guess. But
I mean, the only thing that looks weird to me is the neck looks like when he was there's two different shots of Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan on TV. It's when he's not in his flight suit, when he's just wearing like a leather jacket. He looked pretty good there. Here, it just, the neck looks awkward. Like it doesn't look proportionate to his body. So that's where the awkwardness comes in. Maybe it's the angle or lighting. I don't know. But like,
I don't even think this isn't even like de-aging. This is just makeup. I don't think they did like digital.
I think they touched it up with CGI a little bit.
Well, but like minimal. Like I feel like most of what they've done here is probably would look even better if they actually did do a lot more CGI work, because this just looks more like it's makeup. Because Kyle Chandler, if they were to use like some kind of deep fake combination thing, they've got plenty of reference of a younger Kyle Chandler they could use that would look a lot different. It's a TV show, like they're not going to put in the same level of like, money and effort into it, even for an HBO show, that they would for a movie. So, and this may only be like a few seconds of footage in the entirety of the show. So I think we're paying too much attention to it because it's in the trailer, and the show is probably just going to, zip by, and it's going to make sense to us in the moment, and not much else to it than that, So, and that is, I guess, the nature of the trailer, though. Trailers, people nowadays, such as us, dissect it inside out and upside down and left and right and in all around. So, yeah, and then you'll notice things they otherwise would not notice. So, yeah.
Yes, sirree. And then the next thing, who are the villains? We don't know who the villains are. We just know that they're kind of just generic aliens. That's kind of what we have for right now. I mean, there's been rumors that Garrett Dillahunt's character is Willie. His name is Willie Macon, but there has been implications that he might be Black Hand, who is William Hand in the comics. And then there also has been rumors that the aliens in the cause this whole murder mystery might be the Red Lanterns. So obviously we'll have to wait and see. But I've also some things with the leaked Green Lantern scripts, which may or may not be true at this point. With how, you know, more and more has come out, it seems like those might have been fake or very early drafts of the show. So obviously we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think I remember like reading like, oh, they were like just generic shape-shifting aliens. Like they're kind of like goop, like shape-shifting kind of people, like kind of like body horror-esque. So that's all we know. It's just like rumors and implications and that kind of thing. So
yeah. But I'm glad they haven't given everything away, you know, because like sometimes you gotta like keep some cards up your sleeve until the show comes out. Like you don't want to literally give away every little detail. So I wouldn't expect all the questions to be answered. I mean, the best thing about the trailer from yesterday was that it left me with more questions than I did before I watched the trailer, while answering most of the questions I had and addressing a lot of criticisms I had from the first trailer, which I think is, forget the fact this is Lanterns, any trailer where this is the second one and, you know, how I was feeling after the first one, what this trailer did is everything I would expect a second teaser trailer to do. Again, like I said, addressing all my criticisms for the most part, answering the questions I did have, and then giving me new questions to talk about, which we did talk about, and I think that's good. That's good. And then the whole "Are you afraid?" thing, that seems to be the theme.
I feel like that was kind of a bit much. It's just like the only thing I could think of was like, oh hey, more CIA trauma from Tom King. Love to see it. Maybe we'll have Jon Stewart crying over the American flag, just like he did with Wonder Woman. But you know, it's I mean, I think it was just a bit much, but I get what they're kind of going for. I just don't like what they're going for. It's just like it seems like you have like the whole thing with John with PTSD, which is like I don't mind that, but like the thing that I liked about John early on in the comics is like he was an architect, so like again, I liked how different it was. It's just like, oh, now they're kind of making him a generic soldier, which it could work, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't know. Like I've been kind of iffy about like certain parts of John's backstory in the comics. And it's just like I get it, and it seems like what they're going for is either Hal's gonna die or Hal's gonna become Parallax. It's one of the two. Take your pick. Both suck, but like it's just like this weird. I don't know. I just. Well, I mean, like Hal dies permanently and then like doesn't come back and nothing happens, or he fucking like comes back as like Spectre, but I don't think they're gonna do that. It just feels I don't know, like in terms of this specific aspect, it just feels weird, and I don't know, like. I mean, they technically are getting some stuff right. It's just like with Hal. It's just like it sucks that what I'm gathering from this may or may not be the case, but it just feels like what they're doing here is like, oh, the 2011 movie with Ryan Reynolds sucked, and that was Hal Jordan, so we can't do Hal Jordan live action again. So they're essentially mischaracterizing him here, and then after one season of a TV show, he's gonna either die or become Parallax, which is just weird to me. And I understand Jon Stewart technically is the more popular Lantern nowadays because he was on the Justice League animated series and Justice League Unlimited. So I get that. I understand that. But it still just feels kind of weird that like we're seeing all this like Green Lantern stuff and we just can't do Hal Jordan again. It's just, I don't know. It's like he's kind of the like in terms of he was one of the OGs. Like he was the original Justice League. He was the second Green Lantern. He was the first that was the Space Corps Green Lanterns. So I don't know. It just feels weird that it feels like they're just like going out of their way to disrespect like a classic character for little to no reason. It just
I
feels
think, look, okay,
awkward to
I
me.
feel like at this point, I think we're over analyzing this. It's like they're making a choice. Whether it works out or not, we'll find out. It's kind of the thing. It's the same argument as like, oh, they cast Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. They're not going to give us the Doctor Doom. Like it's, I feel like it's the same thing, but it doesn't mean that we will never get another version of Hal Jordan again. You know, so like
Right.
it's just we'll see if it end up being surprisingly good, and like like it's just this is just the way it's meant to play out in the trailers because they want to hold on to some of the surprises or like how the character develops. I bet you his character arc is meant to take us on a path where we ultimately come to like really respect and appreciate this version of Hal Jordan before we part ways with him, if we do part ways with him. So yeah, but I mean, look, wherever you stand on Lanterns right now, the show isn't out yet, right? We're still basing our opinions off the trailers. So
Yeah.
the show itself ultimately has to do the talking. The Penguin won Emmys and and everything, Golden Globes and whatnot, and obviously was an amazing show. It was also on HBO. So I trust them to get this right, and if they don't, then they don't. And it's not everything is gonna hit. James Gunn knows that, and then so far we haven't had that happen in the new DCU, but I'm sure it will happen eventually. And if the first one is Lanterns, then it is what it is. Yeah, I know we overanalyze. It is. I'm just saying at the end of the day, I don't want to go so far down the rabbit hole. I mean, like you still have the 2011 Green Lantern movie after all. If you want to go back and watch that over. So.
But yeah, but however, when there's smoke, there's fire, and there might be hope, ladies and gents. Caleb, Tony, my fellow haters, there might be hope. Because apparently, allegedly, while it's not officially greenlit, they do plan to do a season 2. And Christopher Cantwell, who has written actual comic books, but also adapted comic books. He adapted Brian K. Vaughan's Paper Girls series into an Amazon Prime show. That he might be replacing Tom King and Damon Lindelof on season 2. Now, we don't know this for sure.
Is he replacing or getting added into the writer's room? What was this
story?
The
way I've read like different things, but we'll get into that soon. So I think with this, I've seen a lot of different things, but we'll get into it. But we don't, obviously, this is not official yet because the season 2 has not even been brought up. Like it might be a mini series. We don't even know. But with that, this is coming from Jeff Snyder, so take it with a massive grain of salt. So apparently he reports that Halt and Catch Fire co-creator Christopher Cantwell has joined the production as a new writer and executive producer ahead of potential renewal. Damon Lindelof are expected to remain on board, but Snyder believes HBO took the opportunity to bring in an experienced TV veteran, and Cantwell was the perfect fit, as it just so happens that he's a prolific comic book writer, as he has written for such titles as Iron Man, Captain America, Doctor Doom, Gold Goblin, The Mask, and Star Wars Obi-Wan. Cantwell is coming aboard now because the writer's room for Lanterns will soon be reconvening despite the lack of an official renewal. TV networks often want to have scripts ready so they can start production faster if a show is picked up for a second season, which again feels somewhat inevitable here, the pending Paramount merger notwithstanding. So obviously this is coming from Jeff Snyder, so take it with a grain of salt. I don't know much about Christopher Cantwell, but like anybody is better than Tom King. So if this is true, and I also read a report that because Tom King and Damon Lindelof are working on other projects, like for instance, Damon Lindelof is working on that show, The Chain, that adaptation of that book, so he might be busy off doing that, and then Tom King is off ruining more DC Comics and
he's
character
working
assassination.
He's working on Mr. Miracle, so like
there is that too. So who knows if it is. I mean, it's just I feel like Hawkeye right now. Don't do that. Don't give me hope. Don't give me hope. Because that's just all it feels like to me. It just definitely feels like Jeff Snyder is just like, oh, he sees the fucking hate for Lanterns. He grabs this like relative, like kind of veteran, kind of nobody that's not like Ronald D. Moore joining Lanterns. It's like, it's nothing like that where it's like, although that would be awesome, but it's just like, oh, this guy that's like kind of well known into the TV sphere, and he's also written comic books. Okay, let me just grab this guy and do a story about it, even though it's literally, we haven't gotten anything about a season 2. We haven't gotten anything in regards of Lindelof and King leaving. We haven't gotten anything from this guy, so this...
I hear you. The part about what Jeff Snyder is saying that makes sense to me, and I'm just going to kind of quickly... What he said specifically was, there is no green light. He's not saying that there's a green light on season 2, but he did say that usually, with HBO and most, they'll try to reconvene the writer's room or like whoever's coming back and being added for the next season to start working on like story ideas and let's start breaking, the big story arcs and stuff and try to get a sense of like what your plan is for the next season leading up to a potential renewal. So to me, John, that makes sense. Like, this is how Hollywood works, how TV in Hollywood works, that they would do something like this in anticipation of a green light. If the show debuts and does really good numbers, then, they're officially a go. They're probably going to hold, onto that and keep their ink dry until the show actually lands, and then we'll see how things go. Going in a different direction, because like you said, those two guys, like Tom King and Damon Lindelof, will be busy with other projects, because them working on this season, most of the work was done probably as far back as like a year ago. And they've obviously got other things they're working on right now. Mr. Miracle is in active development. They're working on it pretty, they're pretty much an extreme development on it, if you ask James Gunn, probably. And then, Damon Lindelof has got not just one, I think he's got like a couple of other things going on. So... yeah, I wouldn't be surprised like bringing in a different showrunner. That doesn't mean the show is going to change night and day. It just means it can go in a different direction, because we've seen that happen before. Change of showrunner does change things quite a bit, because the showrunner is basically, in movie terms, the director of the show. So they will determine the visual, the visual direction, the art direction, the story direction, a lot of those things. It doesn't change maybe the events of season 1 of the show. It also doesn't mean season 2 actually happens. This is just a little bit anticipatory. I hope this is the case, because look, regardless of whether this person is coming on board or not, what this tells me is that HBO has so much confidence in Lanterns, they're already thinking about a potential season 2, which is good news to me, because I'm like, you know what, if HBO thinks that this could be a season 2, and they're saying notwithstanding the Paramount merger, I'm sure Paramount will not kill this thing. Have a good night, Ron. I'm sure Paramount will not walk in and be like, this sucks, kill it now. So, and to be honest, we're probably gonna get a green light on this, if we are gonna get a green light on season 2 before Paramount actually walks in the door, because this show will be running from August into probably September, October, which kind of is right around the time that Paramount is meant to take over if everything goes according to plan with the merger. So I don't think they'll cancel it. So I'm excited if HBO is confident enough to do a season 2. David Ellison said he's going to let HBO do their thing. I'm excited that we might be getting a season 2 of Lanterns, because the fact that we're still 3 months away and there's already this very little early talk about a potential season 2 and a change of showrunner. John, we didn't even know this was going to be more than a limited series until like today, I guess. So this is good. This is good. Watcher saying, here's what I heard. Gunn will have Lanterns go in multiple seasons. There will be major crossovers. Remember when I said that Red Lantern Supergirl, she will be in a future season. I mean, I feel like that's jumping a little too far ahead. If they do have plans for 5 seasons, that would be fantastic. I mean, a lot of showrunners have plans for 5 seasons, 3 to 5 seasons. It doesn't mean they'll get
I mean,
there
there was supposed to be 7 seasons of The Witcher, and look how that fucking turned out.
Yeah. So, but you know what? That's great.
There was supposed to be
That is the
8
case.
seasons of For All Mankind. Look how that turned out. So
They're gonna do 7. So yeah.
6.
But you know what? 6? Oh, 6. All right.
Yeah, next season's gonna be the last one, which makes sense
You
because
know
that's
what?
present day.
Yeah, and you know what? In some ways, I think that works out nicely because Ed, where's Ed? Like without Ed, it's not really the show. But hey, Filmologia, I am in the same boat as you. This new trailer convinced me, Filmologia. I am looking forward to Lanterns now, and I feel like I'll enjoy it more than Peacemaker simply because this is more my kind of a show. Like the Penguin, I really loved. This is really like space-based sci-fi is like inserted into my veins kind of a thing for me. So Peacemaker season 2, I don't particularly enjoy that brand of humor and goriness that James Gunn loves as much. So I'm looking forward to Lanterns. But yeah, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you guys for joining in. Hit the like button, please do, on your way out. We do appreciate that. If you didn't like the show, then hit the dislike button. We will take that as well. Get in the comments, of course. We're not done yet for the night because we still have Tier List Tuesday coming up. You voted for you voted for Shrek movies. So we're gonna
Lanterns is still on the mind. That's okay.
Yeah, it's all good. I hope we get other colors of Lanterns, not only in future seasons, but maybe even this season. That's also been a rumor that's been going around. So we'll see. But yeah, that's about it for DCU Daily. I'm sure we'll be talking about more Lanterns tomorrow on DCU Daily. But until then, John, we got Tier List Tuesday to get into. Shrek movies, I hear, is on the menu. And as we do always, stay #blessed.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chorus.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in the stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka!
And with that, majorly fuck Tom King and also Crybaby Ellison and Jeff Snyder.
Very poor choice of words.